Just this? That's it? This it?
We're live. Yep.
We're live. I'm gonna need to like really cough for a second.
Okay, so cough.
Close out of our
I did. I closed out of it. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Oh, you know what? I should probably post the live real quick on, hold on. Because I'm not sure. Did it transfer the premiere into the live like it did yesterday? I hope it did.
Hey, Tony. Hey, Ann. What are you checking?
Making sure that the live is out there. Oh, what is going on here? Okay, there we go. So what'd you guys think about that premiere, that information? I think it blew my mind yet again. I mean, the details of that crime are incredible. And it's even more incredible knowing the background of Dr. Drake. The background of Dr. Drake, right? And when we look at this case, the whole point in looking at it is looking at the police and the police that were heavily involved in the Idaho 4 Koberger case. And hey, Hot Ham. Yay. New member. Yes.
Now you got the little lightning bolt.
Yeah, now you got the emotes that Malia's uploading right now. We're working on, we got the banana, we got the truck, the two-tone truck, prisoner, star of the chat. We are uploading a tin hat right now. Super stoked you're here.
You might have to refresh in a second after I upload it. Oh, and we got the ESP twin one. Amanda's not here yet. Or Kelly. It was Kelly and Amanda that were wanting the twin emoji.
Yes, 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 absolutely. So going back to what we were saying with this case, like the important factor here in explaining this story is the connection between the police officers in the Idaho 4 and the police officers in this case, right? The lead investigator was the same person in the Idaho 4 as it was in the Dr.Moore case. But I think one really important piece of evidence is who could have done it in this situation. And when you're an outsider and you're just ignore Dr. Moore, ignore Idaho 4, just look at the case unbiased and analytically from the outside as an outside perspective. And when I look at the Dr. Drake murder, I feel like the wife is the key suspect.
Agreed.
I can't see it any other way. Like, I don't understand how it could be any other way, you guys. I just don't get it.
It's just really shady. Like, she's on the phone with him when he gets murdered and then is literally texting the police officer's personal cell phone, putting it in his ear that it's got to be another chiropractor.
I agree.
What? Like, what even kind of theory is that?
I agreed. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
to be a fly on the wall because I really want to know if they were having an affair, her and one of the police officers.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important factor there too, is the fact that, and hit that like button on the way in, you guys, is that she was texting with the assistant chief and police chief directly on their personal phones. Here, let me pull up a picture. So Dr. Drake and Dr. Drake. Oh man, that's his kids. Where's one of just him and his wife? Here we go. Okay. So this is Dr. Drake and his wife. I think I used this picture in our stream or in the premiere and live actually. There was a lot of frustration going on in their relationship too. And I think that's why it was important for me to read directly from that document, because I didn't want to hop on here and seem like, for one, we're talking about a guy who lost his life. So to come on here and be like, oh yeah, and based off what I'm reading, obviously he's an alcoholic. Obviously he was sleeping around. Obviously he wasn't there for his kids. He bankrupted them. They had to get help from their church and he wasn't stopping. Like, it just made me feel weird, you guys. I didn't want to hop on there and give my personal opinion of him after he lost his life and say that, you know. I feel like the court documents paint a very, very, very clear picture on their own. And honestly, the way they're written, I feel like they were written by an author, somebody who knows how to write a story, because it is a very clear story, you know. It just blew me away. It blew me away that the police so easily wrote her off. And that alone made me connect the Idaho 4 case, right? Is there some kind of flirting going on with that officer that was also done in a way with Bethany and Dylan? You know what I mean? Like, I feel kind of weird bringing that topic up because of the age gap in them. But how many times have we seen it before in the past? You know, is it really that weird? Is it really that outside of the box and what we see in society today? You know?
I agree with you, Ian, that figuring out the motive is key in this case. 100%. And how it could carry over to the BK investigation. Tony, yes, you're totally right. We do need to switch the camera up to the top. And when Brendan was rearranging this stuff or adding like the new picture, he forgot. We'll do it though, because it is annoying. It covers our faces.
I will.
You just need to switch these two. That's it.
Yeah, but it can't happen.
Why?
Because it's a background edit. It's not possible. Those aren't pictures posted.
I know you can't do it right now.
Right.
You have to do it off stream.
Yes. I just got water in my keyboard grate.
Oh no. Water in the keyboard.
Yeah, just keep talking.
I don't think it's likely, but I can imagine a world where Dr. Moore was targeted for a specific reason and Moscow PD just doesn't care about BK one way or the other. I mean, I really feel like, okay. So I don't think the motives in the BK case and Dr. Moore case would be the same.
Hey,
I think what the Dr. Moore case really proves is that these police officers are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Which matters. So the motive is irrelevant when you're trying to track it across cases. You just know they're willing to frame somebody for whatever reason.
Yes.
Now, the Dr.Moore case, I think the motive, I really just, my gut feeling points to the wife every time.
Yeah.
And the percentages on, you know, how often it is the deceased person's partner are outrageous. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree
The
with
person
you.
you think you know the best in the world is the most likely to kill you.
Yeah. Well, the statistically, that's why we brought those statistics up in that video here. So let me see real quick. So part 2, oh, it oh yeah, it did bring everyone over. Okay, cool.
Oh,
That's good.
interesting.
So did you guys have to click over to the live stream, or did it automatically bring you over after the premiere to the live stream?
Hey, Cynthia. Yeah, I know you're gonna stick to that, Cynthia. The only question I have, which I understand, like,
There we go.
corruption can definitely span like different offices and people who know each other. Like, I've lived in states that and cities that had like the good old boy thing going on. And they had kind of like a brotherhood. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes, but the thing is that if it spans like as big as what you're saying, basically, um that would point towards obviously like a grand conspiracy. What is the grand conspiracy for framing Koberger? Like, I feel like it couldn't be a grand conspiracy. I feel like it's financially motivated, for one.
Yeah.
If he is indeed framed, it would be finances.
Yeah.
And or somebody close to these people that are framing him is the killer.
Yes.
It's either or, maybe both.
It could be. It absolutely could be, because that's what I keep going back to too, is trying to figure out the why. Okay, so let's just go down this rabbit hole here. Someone spam tin hat. All right. Let's go down this rabbit hole. And I don't want tin hat to be like a negative thing. It's just the uncommon belief, right? So if we go down that, we know that the same lead investigator was involved in both cases. Like, we got it, right? He was involved in Dr. Moore. We got a tin hat emoji. Ian, that's a cat.
You might have to refresh your browser to get it, because I uploaded it once the stream had already started.
Yes. Yes. So let's try and figure out the why behind these. We already know that we have the same officers doing the same kind of tactics in both of these, in both crimes and situations. Okay. So then what could be the reasoning behind the why? Is it, and I think that's what a lot of people are looking for in this case too, because you have a lot of the mainstream people that follow mainstream media, right? And they inherently just believe what's on mainstream media without questioning things, without using it as a dangling carrot to then go and learn and figure out their own information. We see it time and time and time again, and that's okay. I get it. Some people have busy lives. Some people are dedicated to their work. They just don't have time to go investigating, or maybe they just don't like that. Maybe it's just a us here thing, thought writers that love doing that. But you only start seeing these cracks when you start going out of your way to investigate the why and look into the actual evidence. If you just assume that evidence is correct and is true without questioning why it's that and why it's true, then most people never get to the point where they can start seeing those cracks and then start asking the questions of why are there cracks? How did those cracks get there? If I'm seeing them, then wouldn't you think that law enforcement sees them? Wouldn't you think that prosecution sees them? Wouldn't you think that all these other people see them, which then usually drive people to want to research even more? So going into these two cases, what could be the reason for law enforcement going out of their way to try to convict two innocent people is what I go back to. Where's the buy-in? Where's the buy-in here? Who was the police officer? Here's a really interesting detail. And somebody gave me this. One of our viewers gave this bit of information to us, and I'll search it in just a second. But who found the blade?
Gosh, I already forgot.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last night. Who
was it Payne?
Yeah,
Wasn't
it is Payne. It is Payne. Okay, get this, you guys. So I didn't know this. This viewer gave us completely new information, but just to be clear, I haven't verified this yet, but Officer Payne has a business in Bonners Ferry, according to this comment.
No.
Interesting, right? Does that not throw up major red flags and question marks, you guys? It does for me. It makes me question, okay, now we see a connection here. Now we see a connection between the lead investigator and the person who actually found the knife sheath. Could they have been associating with each other in Bonners Ferry? Could they have been associating with each other in Bonners Ferry, which has then led to Moscow? You see, I did that right.
Payne is MPD, right? He's Moscow
Correct.
police.
That's correct. Yep. Weird, right? Is that not strange? But understand that ISP, when contracted through police departments like Bonners Ferry Police Department or Moscow Police Department, they are officially those officers. They just got hired, trained, and paid through ISP, but contracted through that police department. So like if you're a lead detective or an officer through ISP and you're contracted to BFPD, the Bonners Ferry Police Department, you assume all role within Bonners Ferry Police Department. So that's your scheduling. That's everything that comes with it. You just got your certification and badge through ISP essentially, and you can be relocated and or transferred. So give me just a second. I'm going to try and find that comment real quick, you guys, so I can give credit where credit's due here. So you can talk for a second.
Yeah, Ian, like if you have a judge who accepted a bribe, then all his cases can be subject to review.
All of them.
Right. Same thing for a police officer.
Yeah, kind of. It's not as bad as a judge, but yes, all of those cases would get reviewed, but I believe they would get reviewed by other officers, and any of what would be identified as what's that called? What's the key evidence in any case would probably get verified again. I don't think there would have to be retrials like there would be if it was a fraudulent judge, but I do think there would be some major questions being brought up and an additional pair of eyes put on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There would to be in that. Here, you talk for a second.
Oh, so Cynthia, basically, so you're leaning towards the drug theory, like intense corruption to where they're literally like in bed with a criminal organization or something like that. And that them giving those moms that deal, okay, allegedly, and the kids getting killed because of them snitching, that's why frame somebody. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's so funny. We got so many trolls from yesterday's video because we got quite a lot of views from yesterday's live stream and premiere, you guys. It was pretty awesome. But anytime you have success with any video, so many trolls come out. Like we have one person that said, "What new rubbish is this? Why don't we just go back to old-fashioned radio and it's vile talk show hosts that hang up on people? How is that relevant?"
That was super entertaining.
I think so too. That's why it's a troll every single time when they make a comment that's not specific. It's always the most vague thing ever. Like we read that one. You know what's funny, you guys, is normally I suck the air out of the room when it comes to conversation. I just, by habit, I'm a salesman and I take control of conversations by habit unless I'm really fighting myself hard to make sure I don't do that. So it's usually me who are like, I don't know how she can put up with him. He's just walking all over or whatever. And they don't understand that we've known each other as long as we have and everything. But someone came on yesterday and was saying that this video was really good, except for her being so mean to him and rude and like trying to say she's like verbally abusive to me. So funny.
I am verbally abusive. What are you talking about?
I mean, I wish you were.
Have fun washing your eyebrows, Tony. Catch you later. Thanks for stopping by. What do you mean?
See you later, Tony.
What do you mean, Ian? What are you not putting together?
Gosh, I can't find that comment. I really want to give the credit. Oh, wait, is this it? No.
Well, Cynthia, you could always send us an email. You don't have to use Vulcan mind melding.
Here it is. Here. Oh,
you could just send us an email.
So this isn't even it's kxtx.bd3ut. So whoever you are, okay, I just wanted to give some appreciation to you because I think this is an incredible comment right here.
Can anybody even see it?
No, they can't. I'll read it. So Idaho 4 Tolson is suspicious indeed. I think he is a serial framer on crimes, but Brett Payne, Idaho 4 officer in Moscow PD, actually owns a company there in Bonners Ferry. Company is Meat Locker. That building is right near Dr. Drake's crime scene. I bet they all hunt and know each other in those groups. Payne is a hunter. He hunts wolves too. Another Brady Giglio is when Moscow PD officer hides exculpatory evidence case called Stickergate. And we haven't covered Stickergate yet, but we will. Body camera was hid for over a year. What really worries me now is that the judge's wife gets money from Moscow University. She works there. Marianne Judge and Chief Fry, wife handler Koberger every week. Yep. Those are some big concerns. Those are some big concerns that we've brought up a couple times. They're in these smaller towns, though, dude, you're not going to be able to find somebody that's not connected to these organizations. This whole town runs off of the college. We will not find someone that's not connected to the college, unfortunately. Not going to happen. It will not happen, you guys. Okay, so let's go over here. And we might have some new people on here from yesterday. Just want to give you guys the update so you can see the breakdown. I'll make it quick. I won't rant for too long. So this is the crime scene right here. This building. This is was Dr. Drake's office, okay? He was right here in the back. The shot came through this window right here, you guys. This coffee shop, the Coffee Lodge, is owned.
We already went through all of this.
I get it. Is owned by the assistant police chief, Ryan's brother-in-law. Ryan's wife works there, and most people believe the shot came from that window right there. That drive-through window, which lines up perfectly with that window right there. So I just wanted to, if anybody's on here that wasn't on here yesterday, I want to be able to give them at least the rundown so there's a good visual, because that visual can make or break some of the red flags coming up, right? Because you have a family owned by the assistant chief of police coffee shop that the bullet 50-50 came from. I think it's important.
Do you think there is any significance there with Chief Fry's wife being the court clerk?
Based on everything I'm seeing, okay, and this is just the read I get from him. Understand, okay? I'm gonna be completely transparent and critical of Fry in this situation. And anybody watching, this is not common for me. I usually always side with law enforcement on a positive note in any situation. I usually always do. I think any of our members can attest to that, even when it doesn't make so much sense and we shouldn't be. I try really hard to, because I feel like that's a certain level of respect we should give them for people who put their lives on the line for us, but then judge them harshly when they don't. So based on, we do need a red flag emoji. Good one, Annie. So based on everything that I've seen, between the body language, Fry being nervous in the statements made, the police statements made to the public, and the way that I feel like this case was managed from a lot of the side conversations we get from locals and hearing how other investigators handled things and conversations that took place, I think that Fry is a disconnected people manager. I do not think he had his hands in any of this. I think that based on how we see the police act in the body cam footage, where they are quick to make decisions on their own, okay? How many times have you been watching Cops or other police shows where they have to call in everything? We're about to post a funny story where this guy gets pulled over in Power Wheels. He gets a DUI while driving a Power Wheels car on the road, you guys. Super funny. But this cop calls in to his boss to find out what he should do. In all the body cam footage, do we ever see any of them call in to Fry or the assistant chief to find out what they should do? So I don't think Fry is active in any of this investigation. I think he is completely disconnected, other than being the public image and face for the police department. Which means these officers have a ton of leeway to make really poor decisions on their own accord.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm curious what you guys think when it comes to that. That's just my opinion based off of everything that I see from him. And for anyone that wants to read this here,
that's the document.
Yes, it is. That is the document that we got our information from. And right here, you guys, this is important. So and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, alibi witness Mickey McMellet, who is the county coroner, okay? The county coroner that was threatened not to say anything in this situation. During their investigation, law enforcement spoke with Dr. Moore 2 times prior to calling him into their offices for a custodial interrogation. Dr. Moore disclosed that he spent the evening of March 12, 2020 with his close friend and Boundary County coroner Mick Mellett. On May 19, 2020, ISP detectives Alderson and Van Leuven interviewed Mick Mellett, who confirmed that the Moores were close friends and spent time at his home frequently. Further, Mr. Mellett confirmed that Dr. Moore was at his home on the evening of Dr. Drake's shooting from at least 6:15 until around 8:30 p.m. until after the shooting had occurred. After charging Dr. Moore with second-degree murder, Ryan, the assistant police chief Ryan, the one who has family members that own the coffee shop 16 feet away from the crime scene, Ryan, confronted McMellet in a hostile way about having provided an alibi for Dr. Moore's whereabouts on the evening of Dr. Drake's murder. Ryan suggested that Mellett's alibi was causing people in law enforcement community to not want to work with him in his professional capacity as county coroner. This contact was egregiously designed to harass and dissuade Mr. Mellett from providing an alibi for Dr. Moore and violated the laws of the state of Idaho, which prohibit efforts to intimidate witnesses to prevent their testifying in criminal proceedings. Man.
Yeah, that's some good reading.
Is it?
Yeah, you're good at reading and talking.
Well,
Like,
I
don't know,
appreciate it.
You're fluid usually.
I'm fluid. I just, it's probably my sales experience, you guys. So a lot of times in high intensity sales situations, I'll have to read a contract and I need them to be interested in what I'm saying. I need them to be interested in what I'm saying, and it's a contract. Like, you know what I mean? Contracts are the most boring thing ever in the entire world, and I got to make it interesting somehow, you know? Well, I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
I love audiobooks.
I prefer audiobooks. I am a much better audio learner than I am. I'm a good visual learner too. Yeah, audio visual learner. I don't need to do hands-on.
I just fall asleep if I sit down to read a physical book now. Like, I can't stay awake, even though I do like actually reading. I just, one, don't have a ton of time to, and two, I will just pass out.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about Jennifer Drake opening the life insurance policy? I think that's a huge deal, dude. And I would go so far to say and ask the question, did Drake know about this? Did Dr. Drake know she opened it? Because she wasn't the income, you guys. They had 4 kids, okay? 4 children, and she opened the life insurance policy on him. That is so uncommon. Like, so uncommon.
What if we're dealing with a situation like, what was that teenage girl? I forget her name, guys, but it was in the past like year or two, I think. She basically convinced her high school, I think he might have been her ex-boyfriend at that point, I'm not really sure, but she convinced him to delete himself. Like, he had talked about it a little bit, like, oh, I wish I could just, do this, like, I wish I could, not be alive anymore. And she slowly but surely manipulated him, like, into it, making him feel like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, you told me about that recently.
What if
what's that name?
Dr. Drake was going through a lot, you guys. Gambling, addictions, okay? Like, a lot of issues, and he was becoming a financial burden on his family, basically.
No, not kind of. Like, he was.
He was a burden, yes.
Is this
so? What if she, like, and this is totally like out there speculation. What if she, yeah, that's her.
It is Michelle Carter.
That is her.
Here. Yep.
What if she, like, convinced him to hire a hit on himself? So that they could get, and maybe he did know about the life insurance money.
Listen, I have heard,
or she just hired a hit.
I've heard of much crazier things, you guys. I think that I'm hesitant to say this. Women have a lot of power over men when they want to. And I don't want this to become a difference of sexes argument or talk or anything like that, because I believe all genders are equal. Okay. Obviously we're different. We have our differences, but we're all worth the same and equal. But in our society and how our society is, we're in a position where women can have a lot of power over us. So we see in a lot of situations like Daybell, who's the other one that we just watched? There's three of them. The Treehouse Dominatrix. I'm missing one. We literally just watched it. Well, Ruby, Frankie's another one. Like, we see all these examples of women having an overwhelming amount of manipulative power over men when they want to. So do I think that's a realistic possibility?
Jody.
Yeah, I do think that's a realistic possibility. Absolutely. And I think there's some meat on the bone there too, because he messed up. Okay. He was, by all accounts, at least an attempted family man. Okay. And he had side affairs and did it the wrong way. It sounded like he was way too aggressive, way too everything, to where women were bringing up real legal concerns against him. There were women he worked with, so peers he worked with, that were bringing up these issues that they were having with him being too forward. Then he had a patient that he had touched or managed the wrong way or made feel uncomfortable, that threatened financial burden against him, whatever that was. We couldn't find out exactly what those details were, even though we looked for it. But like, this shows a history that he was doing things the wrong way. There were some major issues there. Okay. And he was a family man by all accounts before that. So did he get into a situation where his wife found out about all this all at once? Okay. And he started feeling bad in this situation, and that gave her the in to potentially manipulate him into a situation where he would be willing to take part in this. If that was a realistic possibility, though, I think we would have seen him open the life insurance policy. That's my only concern there.
Yeah,
I believe he would have opened it.
I think it's more likely, obviously, that she just planned it herself and took out insurance on him because all of this was going on. Like, at this point, hearing that he was inappropriate with young girls, young patients, becoming a financial burden on your family, an addict, gambling, having gambling debt, which comes along with other violent, scary things.
Yes.
Which also, he could have been killed by something else like that he was doing. That's why Dr.Moore makes no sense. Yeah. Because this man was assaulting people. He was gambling.
So that document didn't necessarily say he was assaulting people, but it did lean that direction. I just want to be careful because he can't stand up for himself. You know what I mean?
He was allegedly essaying patients.
No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It doesn't. I wouldn't go essay.
Okay, so what exactly did it say?
It said that he had inappropriate contact. That's not essaying, though.
Okay.
That
so
could
maybe
mean that he was too forward.
The person was
trying to give hugs. No, not consensual. They were not consenting. That could be inappropriate touching from a boss to an employee, like that made her feel uncomfortable, and there could be other things other than SA. I just lean on the side of him, it being sexual advances, because there were multiple situations, not just one. There's a big difference between a one-off situation where Dr. Drake could be a very hugging, loving, touchy person, and he hired somebody that's an employee that is one of those people that's like me, like, do not touch me, like personal bubble, not a hugging person. Don't touch me, you know? And your boss comes up to you and hugs you because that's normal to them. That could be taken as uncomfortable and created a really crappy situation. We've seen it happen time and time again. But where that gets thrown out the window is the fact that we see a history of it happening multiple times.
Right. So it was my impression that it was SA, so my bad. But that makes sense. Like it could be inappropriate contact in different ways than other than like sexual.
I personally believe that it's sexual.
Okay.
In my opinion, because if somebody called you out for being too touchy, showing too much physical affection, you only make that mistake once, you guys. It doesn't continue happening. That does not continue happening. You make that mistake once, then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made you feel that way. I'm sorry. And you put yourself in check. That didn't happen because these issues continued to happen with Dr. Drake over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, a serial hugger on our hands.
Cynthia, I would suggest that if you have a partner, or if you eventually have a partner, or whatever the situation is, okay, I always suggest to people, you should take out your own life insurance policy, a realistic, fair number. And dude, unless you've been married or with that person for a decade or 15 years, like you have serious financial investments with each other, I would keep that to yourself, man. You know how many people get ended because of life insurance?
I mean,
it's a personal thing, not a partner thing.
You know, I have the Gerber Plan, which is basically parents that take out a life insurance policy on their newborns. And they're supposed to pay like a penny a day for their whole lives growing up, and then it like doubles and it tripled. So I have a life insurance policy literally from the time I was an infant.
Yeah.
That has been building and growing, and you can like take loans out on it and stuff like that. But I didn't really get a choice in the life insurance policy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm the same way as you, Cynthia, but I think what's important for people to understand is a lot of people out there get in situations where they feel like their ex or their partner could never do that. I think everyone feels like that. Literally everybody. I'm sure Rex Heuermann's wife is sitting there at night thinking, how did I not see that? I didn't think he could ever be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you guys aren't the beneficiaries, Ian.
That's funny.
The beneficiary is my mother.
Yeah, we aren't married. Yeah.
What is that noise? What is playing?
Yeah.
You have something playing noise, Brendan.
You guys should hear. I've proposed like 34 times and she just won't say yes.
Exactly.
Totally joking. Okay, so questions around this case. How strange, I appreciate that, Cynthia. How strange is it that Dr. Drake's wife was texting their personal phones?
And on the phone with him when he died.
I know. I feel like this is like a perfect setup. Okay. So here, can I share notes? Is there a way to share notes on here? I don't know if there is, man.
You can take a screenshot of a note. What are you doing?
I'm trying to find out if there's a...
A picture of just a note?
No. A website that I can go to type up notes and stuff like that.
Oh, we should start using Substack. We should make our own Substack.
Yeah, Substack's awesome. Like, amazing.
I found an incredible Substack about the Linda Lane footage and a bunch of other stuff, and it is so good. Like, so good. I'm still reading it because it's like a book. It's literally like a book. Super long.
Yeah. But I don't think that's normal. With the phone, I don't think that's normal. And you know what's interesting too is Dr. Drake's wife, is the reason they looked at another chiropractor.
Yeah, she is
Similar
the reason
to why they looked at Brian Koberger. And I just
why is that similar?
I just want to give another shout out. Hang on. So Sleuthy Goosey, you guys, is the person that was covering this story when I found this. And she has a video on here that, hold on. Let me make sure it's still on here. I don't know if it is.
It's alive.
I think it is. It's not on here anymore.
Look in her videos.
I have already.
Oh.
Yeah, she took down quite a few videos. So dang it. I'm going to hunt for it, you guys. I'll reach out to Sleuthy. Shout out to you. If you guys go check her out, you need to let her know we sent you over there. And she's good people. But I'm going to reach out to her and see if we can get a copy of that interview. So there's an interview that takes place from one of the locals, and it's funny, they actually talk about JLR in the interview where they were like, that one guy, I'm not saying you're weird, JLR. I'm not. I think you are awesome. I think your content's awesome. But the person in the interview says, that weird guy that has been coming around talking to everybody, saying that he's media, and they kind of go hard on him. And again, I would not say that about any content creator. I love JLR and all of his content. Super stoked with his success that he's had. But then they go on to say that their neighbor has a connection to bleach being used in their vehicle that night. So what ends up happening in that interview is they end up going over to the neighbor and talking to not the owner of the building, but one of the roommates that stays with him. That roommate admits up front, you guys, that they called in to the tip line and told them about Koberger's car. They literally say that in that interview. So did the police get that tip and then start working backwards because they had pressure from the school, because there was $157 million up annually at risk in this situation?
So here's my thoughts. I feel like we've heard it over and over again, okay?
Yes.
That they got a tip supposedly about Koberger's car. Why? What makes that specific? Because his car, which originally when I found out that they gave the tip, it wasn't parked in the Moscow, like the University of Idaho parking lot, like I thought it was. It was literally at his apartment.
Yeah, and Hot
in
Ham,
Pullman.
Truth and transparency is awesome too. Like, for real awesome. I know that I'll say every content creator is awesome, but like Sleuthy, Truth and Transparency, amazing creators. I appreciate all the work that they put into this, and they're phenomenal at it. So I agree with you. But yes, I don't know.
So we know for a fact that once they got the tip and they looked at his car and looked at his ID, like looked him up, they said bushy eyebrows.
Yep.
And that right height. Like, this is our man. This is the guy. Like, he matches everything. What? Based off of a girl peeking outside of a crack of a door. And the man was clad in black with a mask over his face and bushy eyebrows. And they are looking for a 2011, 2013 white Hyundai Elantra. And then all of a sudden that changes to, oh no, it's Kohberger's car.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I think that this case has a lot of correlating facts and
I don't
approaches.
like that. I don't like that.
I mean, who would like it? It doesn't sound honest. I think that anybody can look at this situation and see that there's cracks in the story here. I think anybody would do that. Is that how you want your justice system to manage you? Let's say one of you guys were in this situation. It doesn't seem fair that for 30 days, you guys, 30 days, they went with a specific type of car, a white sedan, Elantra between this year and this year, okay? And then around the 29th, like November 29th, I think is when they claim they caught first wind of Kohberger. And then a week before he was arrested, all that information changed, all of it. They stopped talking about the 510. They updated the car information. They changed all of it. All of it.
It started as a Nissan Sentra. Yeah, I've been hearing that, Hot Ham, but did they ever announce that? Because the only announcement I ever personally saw was the Hyundai Elantra 2011, 2013. Did they release a statement saying we're looking for a Nissan Sentra?
You know,
because I haven't seen that, like, for my own eyes. I've only seen people saying that.
If we can find that, that is evidence. So you know how many people still to this day bring up the concern saying, dude, the prosecution has to have Brian Kohberger's license plate. They have to. And that is not true. If they had his license plate, they would have gathered all that video camera footage within the first week. They went full-blown investigation right away, and all the neighbors were willing to hand over any of their information. They went and looked all on their cameras, and they would have been able to identify Kohberger right away if they had a license plate. That proves 100% they do not have a license plate. They do not. The fact that they didn't pick him up sooner proves that they don't have a picture of him in the car. None. Zero. Zip.
Okay, Hot Ham, so you read it on your channel, so, like, yeah, I'll go check it out later.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I didn't know that either. You know, there's a lot of information. And part of the reason why we have the star of the chat in here with Ian is we weren't covering this case when it first started coming out, when it first started coming to light, and at the end of last year. And we missed a lot of those details, you guys. We missed a lot of those details.
Star of the chat is for everybody.
It is.
That's not why. We have it because J Ray started calling Ian the star of the chat.
I know, but Ian has to do with Ian. That's where it started.
Ian has now been dubbed prisoner of the chat. And now the star can be awarded to anybody for being extra helpful and awesome.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So let's dig into this interview.
I think we pay actually for New York Times too. So.
Yeah, we do. We got the NYT.
Yeah, but I'm going to go check out.
Yeah, you know me.
I'm going to go check out your video after the stream, though, where you read it.
All right. So check this out, you guys. Just to land home how manipulative these guys are. And I want you to keep in mind here the details around the Idaho 4, okay? So On March 24th, 2020, Dr. Moore cooperated. We should reach out to Truth and Transparency too. See if we could
thanks, Ian.
see if we could do a show with her, because they're so knowledgeable on like the inner workings of Moscow PD and everything. Okay, so on March 24th, 2020, Dr. Moore cooperated with an interview with ISP detectives Alderson and Lehman. ISP did not record the interview with Dr. Moore did not record the interview. Dr. Moore offered his full cooperation and denied any involvement with Dr. Drake or the crime they were investigating relating to his death. On May 6, 2020, detectives Alderson and Van Leuven met with Dr. Moore at Moore's office again to ask him questions. At this interview, like the one before, Dr. Moore denied having ever met Dr. Drake and denied having anything to do with his murder. Now, that's really interesting right there, because look, if I am a police officer, okay, and I thought maybe somehow Dr. Drake could be my guy, okay, what would happen immediately following this is I would go try and find evidence that Dr. Moore met Dr. Drake somewhere.
Yep.
Because someone would not target and end somebody by shooting them without ever having contact with them. Why?
I mean, and
unless there's some kind of exterior factor, like they're having an affair with the wife, something of that nature,
right,
which there's other connections.
Yeah, and Dr. Moore just doesn't fit the profile for somebody that would do that, like, at all. At all.
Agree.
Oh, appreciate that, Hot Ham. Oh, yeah, you said you moderate for TNT.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let them know. We would love to. So our goal eventually here is we're going to really lean into the talk show aspects of true crime and have people on that are willing to debate in some situations. One person will take the prosecution side of a crime. Somebody will take the defense side of a crime and go through it that way. We also want to have on actual criminals or police, law enforcement, anybody involved in the justice system. We have an author who reached out to us that did true crime investigation to back their fiction work. Now, I'm still vetting that person because I don't know if there's actually meat on the bone there since they're a fiction writer, but people like that would be amazing to have on here as a talk show, and with my sales background, I feel like I could direct, manage, and control a conversation to make it super interesting. I really do.
We have one guest that's going to come on and tell their story of basically
an attempted abduction by a known serial killer.
So, yeah. Essentially, they survived.
No, that's what it is.
They survived a serial killer attempting to abduct them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is so crazy. It is so crazy. And what's interesting is they didn't even know that was that person until 40 years later.
When they saw a true crime documentary and saw the details of what this guy did. And that is the city that this person grew up in and remembers almost being abducted by that car and that man.
Yep.
Like literally sees it all and is like, oh my gosh, like I survived a serial killer.
And their MO matches exactly what she looked like at that time. So there is other circumstantial evidence to back this story.
The victimology is literally spot on.
I know.
So, yeah, the Rachel Morin case is crazy, Cynthia. I wanted to mention that real quick.
No way, covering Cynthia. That a lot. Oh, my gosh.
What?
How scary. Kidnapped in Ensenada. I used to go down to Ensenada with friends every year and shoot off guns, and we'd buy sticks of dynamite and blow up the sand dunes and stuff. and we'd take like refrigerators down there and things like that. But yes, going back to what you were saying, Ensenada, I mean, there's some stuff that goes on down there, you know? So I am super glad that you're here with us, because that was probably extremely scary. No, it was when I was younger. When I was older, we were going to Rosarita, not Ensenada. And Rosarita, I always got stopped, always, to pay the cops, man. Always.
Ian, we're probably going to have this guest on within the next month. We're working on scheduling, like nailing down a date, but it's going to be within the next month.
Yeah, we have a few people that are interested. We also have another person that's not in the true crime world, but was helping us in the beginning of us starting out. And he leans more into comedy, being from Canada and stuff, and was interested in talking about like why Canada has so much less serial killers than the US, and kind of getting into those things. I think that could be an interesting topic too, you know?
Yeah, that is interesting. It was because of your ex-husband?
Oh.
Ooh. So did he like plan it?
Yeah, was he like complicit in the crime?
Or like, did he do something that made people mad? Or like, did he end up becoming a target to some bad people down there? Or did he literally want you kidnapped? That's crazy, Cynthia.
It is. I'm really glad you're here.
Me too. I'm glad that you're safe. You know, Christina.
Us too.
Christina Randall. He decided to look for drugs, so he ran into some bad people. Okay, yep. Gotcha. And they look for foreigners to target down there. It's dangerous.
Yeah, and all you have to do is go to the pharmacy to get dope. But really, it's not even a joke.
No, I know.
You can get everything from the pharmacy. You just got to know what to ask for.
What was I saying? Right before you interrupt me nonstop,
sorry.
Man.
Get it back and then hold it.
Go ahead.
So
I don't know.
Going back to the interview, the illegally conducted interview with Dr. Moore. This second visit by law enforcement focused on a gas leak that had occurred at Dr. Moore's offices on Sunday, March 15th, 2020, that had rendered him unconscious. This is so shady.
I know. Shady. And before we get into the gas leak, thank you, Casey. I was talking about Christina Randall. I love Christina Randall, and I've been watching her like basically almost since the beginning of her channel. Did you ever watch her video of what happened to her as a child?
No.
Where she was held in Mexico in a tiny little room as a child?
No.
Like literally, like I think it was handcuffed to like something like a radiator.
My gosh.
She was held there for a long time. And like a long time from what I remember. I have to go back and watch a video.
I love Christina Randall.
I remember listening to it and just thinking, oh my God, like how is she such an incredible person?
Because that happened. That's like why.
Yeah,
normally
some people I feel like you're right. I've seen people like that have went through some of the most unimaginable like human trafficking as a child and should have been killed because they kill all the kids once they get too old. Yeah. Like that kind of ring. Incredible human being. Yeah. Like absolutely incredible. But there are some people that are just so damaged, like so traumatized that they like, I don't know. I feel like there's some people that don't break through that. The people who do are incredible, like Christina Randall.
You get to a point, okay? And again, I'm not comparing trauma with somebody else. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there where an outsider would look at my story and look at someone else's story and feel like someone else's was worse, but you know, everybody's worst day is their worst day, period. And I believe that and wholeheartedly that everyone has an equal amount of bad and good in their life. So when you go through a lot of bad, you gain something when that happens. You start gaining experience and understanding in human nature and how and why people make decisions that they make. You start looking at people different, and it changes your perception of the world and how to manage these situations. You start becoming appreciative of everybody except for bad people. You know what I mean? So it changes the way that you look at things inherently. So I can totally see that from Christina Randall, because the vibe I get from reading her body language and expressions and the way she presents herself, and I understand that it's just videos, I get it, but she is a very accepting of all people, nice person. She has her personal beliefs, and I respect her a ton. The fact that she doesn't push them on anybody, that is a big deal for me, even though I don't agree with them. And I think that shows a lot about who she is as a person. So yeah, I love Christina Randall. I like her videos. I know there's a lot of people out there that look at her content and feel like it's not deep enough, because she stays semi-surface level, similar to kind of what we do, actually, except we're a two people talk show, so it's a little bit different. But you know, it's just kind of, it's her style.
I wouldn't say we're surface level, but
well, we keep our shows to
we don't
30 minutes or less, and you can only cover so much in 30 minutes.
I mean, no, our show is like 3 hours long.
Well,
we
yeah.
cut it up
Yeah.
into little
Our stories.
pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
So stories.
So I just wanted to mention that if you guys she used to be like a storytelling YouTube channel where she talked about prison, life in prison, because she did 3 years, and she talked about her childhood. If you guys are fans of Christina Randall, which if you're not, I don't know why, you should definitely go subscribe to her. Because she covers a lot of cases, and I think she's incredibly entertaining. Like, I really like her. But that video of what happened to her as a kid is absolutely nuts. And it really,
to watch it.
It's crazy. It's like her mom's boyfriend at the time, and her mom was, I think, a stripper.
Okay.
And they abduct her. She's supposed to be staying with her grandma, and they abduct her, take her to Mexico, and literally chain her up in a bathroom.
Yeah. My childhood experience wasn't that bad, but we could trauma bond, you know. What's up, Christina? Let's talk about our trauma.
Yeah, but she's amazing.
So after Dr. Moore truthfully described the gas leak incident, Van Leuven and other law enforcement officers developed the unfounded theory that Dr. Moore had attempted ending himself from his overwhelming sense of moral distress over having ended a fellow chiropractor, Drake. You guys,
that is so dumb.
It is so shady, so shady. So this is the breakdown of exactly what happened. I think I covered it in the video, but just to reiterate here, Dr. Moore had a gas leak in his office. And the interesting thing, side note, they had an inspector come in, and the inspector believed that it was hand loosened. Okay. So that makes me wonder, was somebody complicit in loosening that nut to cause the gas leak? Okay. So police automatically, so it caused Dr. Moore to pass out one day. And I believe that gas is lighter than air. So once he passed out and was on the floor, he started coming to on his own. His friend, the coroner, happened to be driving by his office and realized he was there. He was there on an off day at an odd time. He walks in and finds his friend on the ground coming to, and helps him up, and they find out. They get him outside, they figure out what's going on, and they open windows and leave or whatever. Okay. Law enforcement hears about this situation, and they manipulate it and change it that Dr. Moore tried to end himself. What? So messed up.
Was there other staff there at the time, or
just
no?
Here, look. So officers would later learn that members of Dr. Moore's staff had suffered headaches and complained of gas smell near the time of the gas leak that Dr. Moore had described, consistent with Dr. Moore's description of the evidence.
Okay, so yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why
of the event.
It doesn't make sense, because if he was going to kill himself, then why wouldn't he do it? Like, if he was going to do it
End
by
himself.
gas, which is such a dumb way to do it.
Yeah.
Why would he do it while all the other people are there? Why wouldn't he go there one night and just unleash the thing?
No. That's not what it's saying. So nobody else was there but him. The offices were closed at that time. But what they're saying is that for multiple weeks or more than a week leading up to this event, his whole staff was complaining of headaches every time that they were there.
Long-term gas leak.
Correct, but there wasn't staff there
when he passed out.
Correct. Yep. It was during closed time. So that proves that he wasn't trying to end himself.
So do you know where the access point is for the gas?
I don't.
I'm just curious. Is it outside where somebody could just like sneak up?
No, that's not possible.
That's not possible.
No,
it's always inside.
No. This event wouldn't happen if it was outside.
No. Or wait, yeah, you're right. Because wherever they unscrew, it's where the gas is going to leak from.
Yep. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So officers also learned during their May 6, 2020 questioning of Dr. Moore that he had suffered a leg injury that had rendered him incapable of running long before the murder of Drake. And that is so important, you guys. So important, because there were three eyewitnesses of a guy running away from the crime scene, literally hauling, booking it, full speed away from the crime scene. Dr. Moore couldn't have done this. Could not have done this.
No, you would have seen an old man limping.
Physically impossible, not even improbable, impossible because of his leg injury.
I know, he was a well-respected member of his community. Dr. Moore's strategy is that kind of attack is so stupid nobody would ever see it coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome approach, Dr. Moore.
It is so absurd to assume that he, like, the gas leak and trying to kill himself, to me. Like, I've never heard of anybody unscrewing like a gas line in their house to end themselves.
Yeah.
Or office.
I agree. And what's interesting again is they called in a specialist after this happened, and that specialist said that never in their career have they seen something be able to be hand tightened or taken off or loosened, but they believe that there were markings on it and it was loosened intentionally.
So if it was done with you said hand loosened.
When I said hand loosened, I meant by a person.
Okay.
It was loosened by a person.
Okay,
so correction from earlier.
Okay, I got you. So it wasn't like regular wear and tear. It was somebody physically loosened.
Somebody physically loosened a valve. Yes. Physically loosened a valve. That is wild.
Yeah, a car in a garage, or feeding a tube from your exhaust to your window. Like,
yeah,
there's many ways to do it, but that wouldn't cause an explosion. Like, because that could straight up make the place blow up.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yep. Dr. Moore faked his knee injury years in advance so that he could have an alibi.
Right. No, I think what's the more likely outcome is that Dr. Drake's wife was intentionally on the phone with him at the end.
Exactly, L. Hey, L. Also, I don't think we said hi to KC. KC joined. I don't think we said hi to you.
Hey, KC.
She said she was late because her daughter stopped by. That was way earlier. I just remembered. I meant to say hi.
Yeah, I think I did.
Okay. But yeah, glad you're here.
Yeah.
Cynthia, I have no idea if the gas lines are outside of the tiny homes in Australia. No idea. But if they did have gas, maybe that would make sense. Because when you have like a motor home, and
Yeah.
you have like a little
Gas
gas.
hookups.
Yeah, aren't they normally in a cabinet on the outside? Like you have to open the outside cabinet to change the propane
Yeah.
tank.
Yep. Yep. They are. They are. They absolutely are.
So they probably are on the outside.
So I want to look up the meat locker because that's new information for me. That's going back to the comment that one of our viewers left us, which again, thank you. That is incredible. So South Hill Meat Locker.
Meat and locker.
Okay.
I mean, I would have hit the Google Maps. I feel like that's easier.
Where?
Go back. Directions. Set directions.
Okay. How do I get to the... Where do I go again?
Choose starting point. Are you trying to see how far away it is? That's Main Street. Everything's on that main strip. So yeah,
Yep.
Dr. Drake's office would have been on that strip. Dr. Moore's office would have been on that strip.
Okay. Two-Tones Cafe.
Oh my gosh, no way.
That's super funny. Okay,
The
so...
two-tone truck came from this.
Right.
This case, you guys. That's crazy.
But
we got to make a visit there and go to Two Tones Cafe one day.
This is where Drake's stuff is, right here, right by Far North Outfitters, right?
Yeah, it is.
I thought so.
It's right there. Bonners Ferry Herald.
Okay, that's it. Bam. Bonners Ferry Herald and Far North Deli is the coffee shop. That's interesting. They changed the name.
They don't own it anymore. Assuming. Well, maybe they own it and just changed the name, or maybe they sold it because of all the...
Look how close that is. Look at how close that is. This is the joint right here.
Yeah, but what does it matter how close their businesses are? Like
what? To get eyes on it, if you needed to create a situation similar to what Cynthia is talking about, having access, easy access to get eyes and recon, I think is really important. This also proves a connection. So Tolson and Van Leuven were contracted to this area through Bonners Ferry Police Department, okay? And if Payne is in this area, and this is a couple hours from Moscow, you guys, so I think it's important to note that if Officer Payne of Moscow PD is in this area and in this area regularly, there's more of a likely connection between Tolson, Van Leuven, and Payne, which, funny, the three officers. So I think it's a big deal that not only is the police connected to this one, the assistant police chief is directly connected to this building that is 16 feet away and likely the location where the shot was taking place, but they're also connected to this. What? Mind blown.
Everyone is trolling on Google Maps. What are you talking about? Like other streams like are doing the same thing, looking on Google Maps? I'm confused.
So,
were you talking about reviews? Where was the trolling?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Why? What is so funny?
What was it? What was said?
Are you talking about JLR going to the fish place?
Dude, JLR cracks
I
me
know.
up,
I just feel
man.
like laughing the whole time I watch every
Yeah.
video.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it in a bad way. I appreciate everything that he puts into his content. I really do. But it makes me laugh, man. It cracks me up.
I don't know why. I don't know why. He just makes me laugh.
He's so bought in, man. He is so bought in, and I appreciate that. And it's funny. It's funny. You know, we're in true crime, and some people hate us for this, you guys, that we find reasons to laugh in these situations. But like, life doesn't have to be so serious. Us having a good time while we're investigating isn't a bad thing. That doesn't mean that we're disrespecting the victims of any situation, you know? I agree with you, Hot Ham. I think he's doing phenomenal. And I hope for his continued success. I really do. I hope he
Okay.
continues to just blow it out of the water. But yeah, he makes me laugh. I appreciate it too.
Hot Ham, yeah, you're talking about people creating fake names on Google Maps. Okay. Yeah, I know there are a lot of people who despise JLR.
I know.
And I know why. Okay. I get it. I totally get it. I just, I don't want to like ever put anybody down.
Yes, Cynthia.
I just don't want to put anybody down, and I do laugh watching his content. And I think it is really cool, like his whole concept of his channel, like going to like with the Rachel Moore case, okay? The people, the family whose daughter found Rachel Moore's body. He interviewed the dad and like cleared up a lot of things because the media and the police like were saying stuff, and he actually like got his voice out there and corrected some of it. That's cool. Like some aspects of it are cool. I know that he 100% believes it's Koberger. I know that interview is funny too, even though it's like a horrible situation. It's because he's been in trouble with the law. People don't trust him. He may be serious now. I don't know. Like recently in trouble with the law or in his past, because I knew that he did time. But there's a lot.
Did?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
Whoa.
Yeah, he did time.
How did he get through that, man? He does not come off like a very tough guy. And I don't mean that in a shady way either, you guys. I don't mean that in a shady way. I grew up with a bunch of convicts. Like that's who I chose to hang out with when I was younger, unfortunately for me. But I get that. I understand it. He was a troubled young man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's where he's at now. And we just like to take the approach that we hope the best for everybody. And we talked about this last night a little bit, but there has been already multiple people. Hey, Amanda. Hello. Look at the emotes that Malia made for you.
Okay, so it's an AI generated image, and I hate that it is so tiny. I really wanted, like, I was trying so many ways to get ESP Twin like legible, so I still might work on it a little bit. And if you want, if you have any suggestions on it, Amanda, let me know.
But so we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I'll just touch on it very briefly today. But we had some content creators that had already fired shots in our direction and stuff like that, and we just will not take part in that ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. Period. We won't engage in that. There's no benefit in that. And even if someone shots fired at us, we're going to wish them the best. So, but JLR, I think he means well. I really do. And I hope the best for his channel. And what's interesting is people that have had their foot in the the criminal world, the criminal society, the criminal aspects of life, a lot of times make true crime coverage very good, because that lived experience is it can't be, nothing can compare to it in my experience, you know? And I know you guys haven't heard a lot of our background yet, but you will. We finally got a platform up and we have memberships, and we are going to be coming out with those personal stories, you guys. They're going to blow your mind, literally.
Tony said JLR spent 10 years inside suing Holocaust survivors.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. That's very strange information, Tony.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about that.
But I'm curious to know like more details about that, because I don't understand. But
Cynthia said, I think True Crime Mission keeps JLR in a good headspace and his cat. Yeah, I just don't want to be mean to anybody.
No.
And I agree with you. I think he is like coming from a good place, even if I don't agree with a lot of the things he says. Yeah, Daisy, that is a really, really great comment.
Yes. Just wait until you guys can hear some of our past stories. I swear, there's stories from my past that you guys probably won't believe. There's stories that she doesn't even know. I don't know if I'll feel comfortable talking about them, because they involve certain people that I don't want looking at it, you know. But I'll be able to tell a lot. And there's like straight up Hollywood story type situations.
There's a list of all the people he sued. It's insane. Wow, Pamela. Wild. He sued so many people. Look it up. I will look it up. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Amanda. It looks a lot like you. You know, that's weird, because when I was making it, I actually like went to your YouTube profile and I zoomed in on your picture and I was like, the AI image actually, I am totally a stalker, duh. The AI image actually does look a ton like you, Amanda. Like, just from what I could see of like your facial features, I was like, that is weird.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Dude, using the text to image AI comes up with some really strange images sometimes.
Yeah.
Like really strange, especially when you type in like brother and sister.
Yeah.
Like I was not expecting some of the things that popped up.
I know.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, I know. She showed me one. I was like, what? How did it come up with that on this platform?
I said, I don't know, because I typed in brother and sister.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Either way, Ian, I still, no matter what, I hope the best for JLR, and I understand people that don't like his content. I get it. I understand it, you know. But I still hope the best for him, and he makes me laugh, and I appreciate his on-site coverage. It helps me understand the crime scenes a little bit better, because he's, you know, when we see coverage of crime scenes, normally we see a news anchor standing there, not a 3D image of people walking around. So him walking around, getting a concept of how long it takes to walk from this point to that point, that point to that point in Texas, that was very, very, very helpful. Because when we were covering the smiley face Austin situation, they made it sound like in the paperwork that someone that was drunk could very easily, just a couple steps out of this bar, be at the river. When he got there, that was not the case, dude. It was way further than that. Way further than that. So, yeah, just wild. JLR was a famous troll. I have a hard time imagining that. That one guy that came at him in Moscow, he was shook.
I mean, there's a reason JLR can go out there and like I mean, it's incredible what he does. Like in these,
but I mean, he's
okay,
not like, he
for
doesn't put it,
example,
he's not like one of those
for example,
he's not one of those crime reporters that put themselves in the way of danger.
no, what I'm saying is it's incredible how confident he is. Like, okay, for instance, what's her name? Carly Russell. He literally got the neighbors on his side hunting through the woods with him.
Yeah.
He got a PR badge to be able to like
Yeah.
go into the press conference.
Yeah.
Like, and he pushes and he pushes and he's confident, which is incredible in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of people who just wouldn't feel comfortable going into this situation where emotions are running high. People are upset or grieving, or
that's why I want to be able to do that, because I'm a salesperson. That's my strength, being able to talk to anybody. You know how many, dude, I'm sure most of you in the chat hate salespeople. I'm sure that if I was in my sales get up with my tie and my wingtips and everything on, and I showed up at your door, most of you, no lying here, most of you would slam the door in my face. People don't like salespeople.
Nope.
So you figure out how to have a conversation. Even when I walk in the door and the first comment is, get the heck out of here, and I've had people be violent towards me. I've had people be like, look, if you don't walk out of here right now, I'm giving you 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3. And I stand there and try and work through it. Hey, do you even understand what I'm here for? I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's literally just trying to strike up a conversation with them. So
what are you being serious, Ian?
And we appreciate that.
You're trolling,
go,
right?
Charcoal. Yeah, we acknowledge everybody. Everybody here. We love everyone in the chat, and we love opinions and theories and everything. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we can make your day a little bit better.
You're in sales, Casey?
Everybody has their bad days.
So, I'm really good at cold. Yep.
He's sued all surviving Holocaust survivors, Che Guevara, and the planet Pluto.
Huh.
But Pluto's not a planet.
Yeah.
Love, not live.
Yeah. Yep.
We are business salespeople.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I've pretty much done at one time, you guys, I was the sales training manager for the nation. I have been the regional sales director. I have been a sales manager. So like my whole career is all sales everything. And I love it. I like talking to people. I like training people. That's where I get my rant from. I'm the manager and trainer that when you go to a job, you're at training and you're like, oh my gosh, when is this guy going to shut up? Seriously, he's just saying the same thing over and over. That's totally me.
Salty Sassy, if you look at the bottom of the live chat, you'll see a little money icon next to like the emoji button. That's where it all is. All the links are there. And thank you very much. I'm glad you could make it too.
Oh yeah, the membership stuff.
Yeah, and super stickers, everything. Super chat, super sticker, all of it.
Yeah.
It's under that little link.
I was just wondering if there was a way that I could share it to show people. Oh, because when you're on a phone, where is it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so it's under live chat to the right. There's okay.
You have to be in the live chat.
It's right next to the emotes.
Casey, I'm glad that you like the twin emoji too. I'm glad I could make one that you guys liked. I had
And we got tin hat.
and
Did you
we got a
show?
kitty tin hat. You know,
Look,
that's gonna be temporary because what I really want to do is get a picture of your face wearing your tin
I
hat and cut
know.
it out.
Yes, I agree. I agree. My face is tin hat worthy.
Maybe we could do one of both of us. We both wearing tin hats. Like
Yes.
one of you, one of me, and one of
Mhm.
us is having like a tin hat moment.
You know what we should do for the like highest tier of membership is create an emote of whoever's part of that.
Wait, what?
For the highest tier membership,
Mm.
just one of the benefits, if we ever get like super big and we have multiple people that are interested in that and whatnot, we should create a specific emote of them. Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that would be cool.
I just try and think of things that we can do, you know, because we got to start figuring that stuff out. We got our Patreon set up, and we already have somebody on there, which I appreciate. That's awesome. I feel a little bit guilty because I don't have much on there yet because we just opened it. But yeah, so
I was highly offended when Pluto was removed as a planet. And Amanda, that's such a good comment. Like it is poetic. You're right. That's so crazy. The meaning behind it. But Ian said he would do anything.
ADHD emoji. Yes.
But Ian said he would do anything for Pluto.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
ADHD emoji. So
I would do anything
that's
for
what
Venus.
that's what the two-tone truck is for, is when you're in that obsession ADHD where
That's
you
right.
won't let something go.
Yeah, this is the ADHD emote.
More like obsession, but
Daisy, it's this one. Because I don't know if you were here with us that one night, but I had my ADHD obsession take over, and I could not let it go. I could not let it go. I try really hard to control it, and I feel like I've done really good about controlling it in front of the camera, in front of you guys. But every once in a while, it'll peek out its head, like in the Northwest Slasher topic. I'm obsessed. I cannot let it go. See, Ian said we need an ADHD emoji.
we can make a one
That
specific
literally says ADHD,
so just
like
the letters.
ACDC.
Oh, with a lightning bolt?
Yeah, AD lightning bolt HD.
Okay, I can do
Yes.
that. I can do that.
All right, so surveillance footage, okay? And I wanted to give the details on these.
We do not look alike.
So I wanted to detail some of these so that, because we did a brief overview, right, of the case, and this is where that evidence comes from. So surveillance footage, you guys, this was manipulated by Tolson and the other police officers. Yeah, we do look alike, being brother and sister. What do you mean? How could we not? All right, 82. During law enforcement's investigation into Dr. Drake's death, they compiled what they purported to be surveillance footage showing the whereabouts of Dr. Moore's white Tundra on the evening of Drake's murder. So they literally had proof, you guys, not even just an eyewitness, but they had proof. They had evidence that Dr. Moore's white Toyota Tundra wasn't there. And they manipulated that footage and timestamp to make it look like it was there. And listen to this, a straight up lie. Van Leuven swore in an affidavit that the footage showed Dr. Moore driving his Toyota Tundra near the area of Dr. Drake's shooting on the night of the shooting and in the same time frame as the shooting. Dude. So now we have evidence and proof that not only are these police officers willing to lie or willing to manipulate evidence and threaten people and bury evidence, but they're making official statements swearing on this statement that it is the whole truth, the honest truth, you know, and they're lying. And these people were very important key investigators in the Idaho 4 case.
Yeah, I think just read those statements really quick.
However, none of this footage is accurately time-stamped. However, none of this footage is accurately time-stamped. None of this footage shows Dr. Moore driving the white truck depicted in the footage. None of the surveillance footage depicts a license plate of a vehicle which belonged to Dr. Moore. Meaning,
what does that sound like to you?
What obviously, yes.
Koberger.
Yes.
It sounds identical. You
I
know they
know.
don't have a license plate. You know they don't have footage of Brian driving the white car.
I know.
And isn't it also weird that it's a white vehicle?
White and white.
I feel like the universe is just like laughing at all of us. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
That's what makes me put so much doubt on the Koberger and the Idaho 4 case. Also, you guys, Kathy, hey, I didn't see you come in here. Welcome,
hey,
welcome.
Kathy.
So that's what makes me cast so much doubt on the Idaho 4 case in these situations, because we have a play-by-play playbook right here, you guys. This is so important because it is the playbook. It is the end all be all Tolson, Van Leuven, Payne playbook. We know what they're going to do. We know how they're going to do it, and they've done it twice, potentially, right? Potentially. So, and here's a good comparison that I always say to people too, is you want to see a case that's slam dunk. Look at the Gilgo 4 case, you guys, with Rex Hewerman. That is a total and complete slam dunk case from start to finish, where you line up all the evidence and you can pull out any piece. You could probably pull out any 2 pieces and there's enough to convict. You put those 2 back, pull a different 2 out. There's enough to convict. You could probably cut that evidence in half and there is still enough to convict. Now, you look at the Koberger case and there isn't anything yet, and that is terrifying.
There's nothing of substance at all.
Terrifying.
Amanda said ADHD merch, like what we were talking about, the emoji, would be incredible. Like t-shirts.
Agreed.
That would be super cool.
Well, here, I'll write it down so we don't forget, because we'll get merch. I've already been looking at some ideas around logos and things like that, just to get a feel. We aren't there yet, but we will one day. You know, we'll be there eventually, and that would be an awesome one to have a Thought Riot logo or something with ADHD.
It would be super cool.
It would.
I hear you, Cynthia. I do. I hear you. And definitely go pop that bottle.
Yes.
Well, why not?
HD.
Can you imagine the innocent one locked up looking at a possible firing squad knowing you're innocent? I know, Casey. I know. So Joey said, I found it weird how they found Brian's car after he had registered it in Washington, yet they mention the 1 number plate thing. How would they have known it had changed if it was just a security guy?
Yes.
I don't know. But yeah, he changed his license plate. I have the exact date.
Yeah, it's the 29th. I'm telling you, it's the 29th. Pull it up just to be sure. We can double check, but I'm pretty dang sure it is 11/29 that he changed his license plate. So, it is interesting because I believe one of the concerns, is it the 22nd? I could be wrong, you guys. Look, you guys know how I am with names. Dates are the same, okay? I'll give my best guess, but don't quote me on it unless I have the information in front of me. Malia's pulling it up, though. We'll be able to get it. Oh, man, I got like a bug bite right here or something. Okay, so custodial interrogation, which we'll just keep going through this as we're talking about the case. Just I want to be able to show the manipulation in the interrogation. And I think that is very important, you guys, because if I was Ann Taylor, hey, Gina, hang on here. Where is it? Hey, welcome. We're super stoked that you're here.
Hey, Gina. Okay, Friday, November 18th, 5 days after the murders, Kohberger received a new license plate for his white Hyundai Elantra, court documents reveal.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said.
Friday, November 18th, the Washington State Police Department of Licensing provided CNN a redacted copy of a vehicle record, which included a license plate number matching what is described as the new license plate in the court documents.
That would be awesome. I sure hope so. I do. I sure hope so. And welcome, Peyton. We're super stoked to have you here.
Is that the date he actually changed it, though?
I mean, isn't it officially changed at that point?
I mean, is that when he actually put it on the car?
Does that matter?
But it's changed in the system.
Yeah, I think it's changed in the system at that point. Maybe there's some overlap where you have an active license plate, but I believe that it would. Yeah.
Why is Ann Taylor sus, Cynthia? You know how many cases are so much more transparent than this? Like
all of them?
Insane. I mean, I don't know.
All of them?
You know what's weird is lately I've been noticing with like a whole bunch of new cases. Rachel Morin is another one. They are so tight-lipped about everything, even things that I feel like could help the public identify this person.
Well, okay. Rachel Morin, I feel like, is a really bad example.
It is.
Because they have not. Hey, what's going on, H. Potter? They haven't caught the guy yet. So they have to protect that information, because if they tell the public where they believe he's at and or located, then that person will know to move on. That person will know to be careful.
Yeah, you're right.
If they believe they have a name and they're waiting for it to pop up in the system, in bank records, DMV, tickets, anything like that, they don't want the public to know that because they could see it. You know what I mean?
But like typically once we get the PCA, though, so much comes out.
Yeah.
Like most things come out after they've written the probable cause affidavit.
That was a brutal crime. So if you're talking specifically about the Rachel Morin.
Yeah, no, I'm saying in most cases.
Yes.
Like with Kohberger, I think everyone, once we got the PCA, we were expecting like a dump of information.
We were.
We didn't really get that.
No, we didn't get that.
We got a gag order.
Yes. No, I agree with you. And I think there is a major problem with that. And I think that is the big issue here, is that look, we understand the secrecy before they have a suspect in custody. I get it. I don't think any of us would argue that fact, that information, or the reasoning behind that, right? But what we would like to see is once they've arrested that suspect, it is in the public's interest normally to release that information. However, one important thing to remember, though, is in the Brian Kohberger case, for whatever reason, you guys, we can speculate about this all day long, but for whatever reason, law enforcement was sure it's Brian. Now, is that legitimate? Do they truly believe that it's Brian? Or is it a situation like DrMoore? Or did they believe DrMoore was truly the suspect? Are they that lacking in training that they believed DrMoore was the suspect because the wife of Dr. Drake said that it could be the suspect. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or is there some kind of intentional setup? Are they gaining some kind of satisfaction from it? Is there some kind of other personal gain there that we're just not able to see at this point? Now, knowing all that, okay, once the case started moving, once they had the suspect, once they had Bryan Kohberger in custody, then they started to realize, like, hey, we have a weak case here, you guys. They came out and said they have the strongest case ever, which is a sign that it's a weak case. So they started going through the regular motions of what you go through in a weak case. And the best motion is character assassination 101. Let's paint the public image of this person because we don't yet have the evidence to convict him without doing this. We see it all the time. It's a super common angle in true crime. Y&W Melly. We see it all the time. Now, in this case, though, I think they kept it secret with the intention of getting the general public bought into the character assassination on Bryan Kohberger, and we're still investigating him. Now, I think after that happened, they realized, oh, shoot, there isn't more evidence.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the conundrum is. That's where the issue is. Now we have major problems, and Justice Police Department doesn't want to come out with what? This isn't working?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you read this comment.
What?
This one. Whoa.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just say hi, because
I didn't know if you shouted out already or
I
not.
did.
Okay, then no. Move on.
But yeah, I think that's the issue they have gotten themselves into, you guys. I think it's a very real possibility and outcome of this situation. And I also think that it could be created by just a few people. I know there's this great grand idea that the whole town could be against this one situation, creating this giant conspiracy. But I think, and that could be the case, you guys. I'm not saying, for the people out there that believe that the whole town needs to be torn down and rebuilt and all this stuff, I'm not saying that that's not a possible outcome. But I think another outcome is possible too, where you have 3 or 4 conspiring police officers that were leading the investigation, gathering the evidence because the FBI didn't gather the evidence, and they worked together to work backwards because they believe they found the suspect, which has now created the situation we're in.
Absolutely.
Long rant.
You know, I don't know how fast Bundy killed those sorority girls.
It was quick.
Yeah, but like 7 minutes quick.
I think it was like 14 or something like that. And you're talking multiple. Hand me that can, and I'll be right back.
This one?
Yep.
It's still got stuff in it.
I mean, are you gonna drink it?
Yeah. It's an...
Okay.
I don't know why you asked me to hand it to you.
Because I was gonna go grab one and throw this away. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. All right. You guys have been like chatting it up. I wanted to catch up on some comments real quick. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. News Nation doesn't dig into Rex Heuermann the way they do Kohberger. You know, I find that odd. I feel like we have heard from like people in Rex Heuermann's past. Like people have definitely come out and done like little interviews about him, but I don't feel like there's been the same level of digging and character assassinating him. And he's like a super, I mean, obviously he's still like innocent until proven guilty, but at this point I kind of assume guilt. That's just my opinion because of how much evidence there is. But most likely he is like a horrible, disgusting serial killer. And they don't character assassinate him nearly as much as they do Brian Kohberger. So how is the Cynthia? I'm guessing you're answering my question about Ann Taylor. How is the most competent and high-powered public defender on this case? Other than that, she is death penalty certified. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody have knowledge? Maybe you do, Ian. Do you know if public defenders can kind of have some sway, like in picking a case, like new cases that are coming up? Like, are they told this is what you're covering? This is your case? Like, is it assigned to them? Or can they ask for that case? Because I know that she's like, what is it called again? I looked this up before. She's like head of the department or something like that, from what I read. So maybe she did have some sway in getting the case, and maybe she thought, I don't know, maybe she thought it was going to be a really big case. Yeah, the managing partner. Okay. Yeah, maybe she picked it, like, or maybe people just look to her because she's like a leader in the field. I don't know. Yeah, I think corruption in the public defender's office is unlikely, but possible if everybody's super tight knit, but unlikely. Like, these lawyers, they don't get paid much to be a public defender. Like, they could definitely make a lot more in a private practice.
If they're good.
If they're good, yeah. And Ann Taylor is good. So
Yes, she is. Yeah, and did you talk about the amount of time? Gina made a comment saying
that's what I was looking at for Bundy. That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried looking it up and I couldn't find anything like quickly. I'm gonna have to dig.
Yeah. I agree. Gina, I think it's possible, okay?
Hey J Ray.
Hey J Ray. So I do think it's possible, Gina. Just unlikely unless you have the training ahead of time. And, Gray Hughes did a video showing how it was possible, okay? And it was semi-biased, okay? But it was interesting seeing how it would appear in the suspect's eyes if it was done in that situation. Now, there's a couple things that we don't take into account during that. That is people fighting back, crowd control, being able to control two people at once. And the biggest aspect is the emotional aspect. I don't think anybody that had no experience doing this would ever be able to do this for their first time. Just isn't possible.
Hey Miss Kelly. Did you see this?
What?
That Gina said, my friend's niece lives in that same sorority house at FSU that Ted Bundy killed those girls.
No way.
They never tore it down. I could never stay there. It freaked her out. Gosh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, Cynthia, I think the whole town is even a realistic possibility. I mean, you guys know how we feel about theories, everything from tin hat to mainstream. I think everything is worth looking at. Everything is worth looking at. That it, even if it doesn't seem likely, it reaffirms other theories. And I think that's a really important thing to do. I think that's a really important thing. So yeah, I think that people that approach this case questioning everybody from all the law enforcement from the top down, the judges, the prosecution, everybody, literally everybody that touches this case, they bring question marks to them. I think it's good that we question those things as long as we aren't biased towards conspiracy too. You know what I mean? To bias towards people conspiring in this situation, because there is a major lack in our current social systems, justice systems, government systems, which can create additional bias for a conspiring type situation.
I want to address Ian's comment because I asked him a question if Anne could pick her cases or if they're assigned to people. J. Ray said she can pick them. She's the chief public defender, and she's one of the few that's death penalty certified. Ian said depends on the jurisdiction. Sometimes chief public defender has their name on everything, and other people do most of the day to day.
Yep.
Other times
it's just like a regular manager and how they prefer.
Other times, chief public defender takes on these challenging high-profile cases, and Ann Taylor's the person you would expect to see in charge of this case if they're sincerely trying to defend BK. Otherwise, just throw some new overworked rando on the case.
Yeah. I think that is a good call out, a really good call out. Because you got to remember, you guys, too. You know how when you go to fill out a job application and you have your work history, okay? And everybody tries to make it look the best they can for that job they're applying for. Well, when you're an attorney, when you're a lawyer, that success rate and the biggest cases you have is that work history. So normally, when you're building that past experience as an attorney and a lawyer, you're going to highlight cases, big cases that you were a part of and or won. And it's also really important when you're deciding your cases to not pick a case that could potentially end poorly for you, you know? Now, when it comes to a public defender's office, they're way more lenient because obviously they're going to be issued a public defender no matter what. But the fact that the managing attorney took that case and didn't just hand it off, I think shows that's not what's going on here.
Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Joanne, welcome.
She said, I've never seen law enforcement clean up a homicide scene ever. I've always seen the family.
I know that law enforcement does have a cleaning crew. Sometimes it's in-house, sometimes it's subcontracted out.
Right.
But law enforcement is normally not a part of that situation. So yeah, I think it's interesting that they did it that way. And I do think it was to be able to control everything. This entire scene has been locked down from day one and continues to be locked down today.
Yeah. I mean, they literally had people peeing on the house. So I kind of understand why.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a college town. There's crazy people out there.
Yeah, it could totally be seen as weird for sure. What is the heart?
What? That's just in her name.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. I thought it was, lightning bolt. Never mind. Losing my mind here.
Just like Annie has the kitties.
Yes.
Yeah, they just put an emoji in their name.
Yes.
So I thought they brought in cleaning crews for both the blood cleanup and also to get the personal effects for the family. So that wasn't an official cleaning crew, that was police?
So there's been a couple. The later two were movers of some sort. They didn't use their company truck, so we don't know who it was. We know Fry was the one driving the truck, so there was heavy police involvement there. The original cleaning crew, I know nothing about you guys. So if you guys know any information on that, I would appreciate that a ton, because I don't know anything about the original cleaning crew. While we figure that piece out here, I'll get into this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So August 27th, 2020, this is what they call the custodial interrogation of Dr. Moore, you guys. I need a tissue real quick. My nose spray. Okay. Sorry about that. Desperate to name a suspect in their long-running investigation into Dr. Drake's death, law enforcement lured Dr. Moore to the Boundary County Sheriff's Annex for a custodial interrogation on August 27, 2020. During the custodial interrogation, defendants Ryan, so remember, Ryan is the assistant chief of police here. So during the custodial interrogation, defendants Ryan, Van Leuven, and Tolson, big names, Van Leuven and Tolson are the two ISP detectives that were in the Idaho 4. So those three people colluded to extract a coerced false confession from Dr. Moore. Huge red flags, like fireworks going up, mortars going up, bombs going off, there's problems here, especially with these three individuals. And this is probably the biggest piece of evidence here against the Dr. Moore case. And it makes me wonder, who did Tolson be involved with interviewing in the Idaho 4 case? I think I missed a couple.
Yeah, I want to know too.
Comments here. What?
Who they interviewed.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, okay. So everyone was just talking about, so the weird U-Haul said Pennsylvania on the side. Okay. Oh man. I got allergies too, Gina, but for those of you that are new here, like this nose spray, completely addicted to it. I wish I never touched it ever in my entire life. It's all her fault. She coerced me into using this nose spray against my will, and now I can never get off of it, you guys. I don't know what to do. I've asked doctors. They can't help me. I just don't know what to do.
You need to take a full course of antibiotics. You have an infection at this point, just like I did, guaranteed.
I mean, does it look like I have an infection?
That literally took care of it. Like, I got better in a couple days.
Okay, so during the custodial, okay, yep, we read that part. Got it. So this false confession followed a custodial interrogation of Dr. Moore, which exceeded 3 hours from the time law enforcement lured him to the sheriff's annex to the end of the custodial interrogation and his formal arrest. The custodial interrogation was continued by law enforcement despite Dr. Moore's repeated requests for counsel, first made just 15 minutes into the interview and repeated at least 3 additional times during the course of the interrogation. Now, that is just the concrete 4 times, okay? 4 concrete times, multiple other times that alluded to asking for an attorney, but never said it concrete, okay? So essentially what was going on here is he was asking for an attorney the entire time, you guys, literally the entire time. Whether he was directly saying, I think I should get an attorney, or he was sliding towards that, I don't think I should be talking to you guys alone. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. After it's said the first time, I think everything that alludes to asking for an attorney should count as an ask for an attorney, in my opinion.
Oh, I wanted to say, Joanne, have you seen the new emojis? We added new emojis for members.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you've been here since we.
Yeah, I don't know if we showed her the emojis. All right, go ahead.
Ian, get help. We all support you. I know. I need to have it. I need to have a nose spray intervention, you guys.
Seriously.
Everyone in the chat's just gonna show up here one day, and we'll sit around a circle and kumbaya and stuff like that. It'll be great time.
That's the two-tone banana.
Okay. And this is so important because these are the key individuals in this interrogation, you guys. The important of the important in this story, all right? These are the key investigators in the Idaho 4 case. So, oh, man, it just drives me crazy. Drives me crazy, man. On the date of the interrogation, Van Leuven and Tolson, with the assistance of other officers and agents of the Idaho State Police and Bonners Ferry Police Department, lured Dr. Moore to the Boundary County Sheriff's Annex via a request that he provide law enforcement with his wife's 380 special for inspection in connection with their investigation into Drake's death. Now, here's a Oh, it's about to say it actually, so I'll just keep reading.
Yeah.
So, law enforcement was aware that this firearm was not involved in Dr. Drake's death. They were aware. They knew it. They knew it the whole time that this was not involved in Dr. Drake's death. They totally set him up to make him look bad in this situation when all they had to do was ask him to come down to have a conversation. I think this is helpful in just showing the tactics that were being used in this situation, you guys. Questionable right from the start. Right from the start. Are you kind of watching the chat while I'm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
After a brief wait at the sheriff's annex, Dr. Moore was confronted by multiple law enforcement officers, some in uniform, who instructed him to empty his pockets. Law enforcement then frisked Dr. Moore and explained that they were taking him into a secure area, requiring him to check for weapons. Law enforcement secured the keys to the car Dr. Moore had driven to get there. Dr. Moore's cell phone was left inside his car. Now that, again, manipulation tactics right there, you guys. I think, again, that's super important. So in an interview where they're going to be arresting somebody or custodial, you would search them in that situation because it's an unknown factor. You don't know if this person could be the person or not, right? You're not just having a normal conversation between two people. It is case related and case based. So they manipulated him by saying, hey, we're not searching you because we think you could be the guy. We're searching you because we're taking you into a secure part of the police department. So we have to search everyone unless you're an officer. Manipulation, man. So shady. But then in their documents, they said that they were searching him because he was a suspect. Apart from two subsequent bathroom breaks, law enforcement recorded the entirety of their interrogation of Dr. Moore on videos. And Malia's trying to get those right now, you guys. Less than 5 minutes into we probably won't be able to get them because there's the open investigation right now into the police officers, but it would be incredible. So, less than 5 minutes into the interrogation of Dr. Moore, Van Leuven informs Dr. Moore that he is suspected of killing Dr. Drake and attempting suicide via gas poisoning due to the sense of guilt. So, what is that tactic called? Is it raid or rain? Hold on, let me see. Rain interrogation tactics.
Joey, I put a comment in the chat explaining the emoji that Joanne used. So the ESP twins, that emoji is because of Amanda and Casey. They're twins, and it's like, just consider it like telepathy, like we're thinking the same. You know what I mean? That's
it's
what it can be used for.
wild. Yeah. We're twins. So the read technique, you guys, that's what I'm thinking of, not raid or rain. The read technique, which is pretty standard, pretty common for police investigators and training across the nation. This is what we see in most cases where they're investigating an individual or interrogating them or have an arrest and trying to make progress in their case. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because when we're looking at this.
Oh, no, Amanda and Casey are not twins. They have twin siblings, but they are not twins with each other.
Yes.
Okay. They don't come from the same womb, but they have siblings that do.
Oh.
And I guess that did sound confusing.
They don't come from the same womb, guys.
I know. I was trying to make the letters on it legible. I'm still going to have to mess with it a little bit. Sorry. They're just so tiny. Like there's only, you can only make the letters so big. You know what I mean?
So less than 5 minutes here. They're not following anything. They are not following anything. This is a total and complete setup and manipulation of Dr. Moore and this situation, you guys. And I think that's important to continue to keep pointing out here because, again, I'm going to say it over and over and over, and I'm sorry if you guys get annoyed with me, but this goes back to the eyewitnesses and people involved in the Idaho 4 case. Were tactics like this used? They cleared so many people so fast.
Mm-hmm.
They said that the surviving roommates were not eyewitnesses. Fry said very clear. He corrected the news person and said, actually, I never said they were eyewitnesses. I just said they're survivors. Okay.
And then all of a sudden, they are witnesses.
Now, both of them are.
Yep.
Both. And I promise you, if it gets that far, if Ann Taylor cannot find a hole, a crack to exploit in this case, we're going to see them standing up on the case doing this. Yes, that's him sitting in the courtroom right there. That's who I saw. You know, that's what it's going to be, dramatic. And I think that had to come from somewhere. Okay. It's crazy that we're just now hearing about the Bethany information.
Gina and everybody in the chat and a ton of other people feel the same way as you. It sticks with us because, for one, the victims, and two, because of the whole situation with Koberger. Like, there's a lot of people when the rumors started going about him being innocent, because I hadn't been following that side of it at that time. I was really following it
our first video,
very surface level.
We said that we thought it was him in our very first video because we didn't know nothing. We literally learned all of our information with our viewers on stream.
Yeah. So I was just following it very surface level. Like I started following it from the beginning when it happened, but I wasn't paying attention the way I am now. And when the innocence theories started popping up here and there, I was like, what? What is this?
I don't think they have a choice, J. Ray.
What?
Calling them to the stand.
What do you mean they don't have a choice? What are you talking about?
The defense is going to do it. 100. There's no way they're not.
At least Bethany.
Yeah, there's no way they're not. There's no way. That is too big of a potential exploiting factor. That would be so easy.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, when you're the defense attorney, you are not worried about like what's socially acceptable. You're not worried about hurting feelings. You're not worried about if they're a victim and if you might look bad questioning these victims. And I think that that's part of the reason why the defense doesn't want the cameras, because I think they want to go hard, you guys.
Yep.
And And everyone is going to look at that situation and be like, I can't believe they did that to them. They're survivors. How dare they, but they can't not do it. They can't not do it. They can't. They have to. They don't hurt Kohberger if you can exploit a flaw in the story. Right now, they're a pain point.
Yep.
So.
Hey, Jane.
Oh, I know, Jane. And welcome. I'm super glad you're here. Yes, there's a lot right now. There's the Karen Reed case, which I need to cover again because I really messed up the names in that case. I
so bad. People were hating so hard in the comments. You really messed it up.
I get it, but it's only 2 names I mixed up, okay? It's only 2 names I mixed up, but people hate when we mess up names, like hate it. And I can't help it sometimes, you guys. I literally can't help it. I forget my own name sometimes. It's just part of what I have going on with me.
Yeah, we can try to work on it more, though.
Yes. Yep. But yeah, there's a lot of cases out there right now. I agree with you, Jane. And welcome from Canada. All right.
Oh, Canada.
You're not going to continue?
No. Why would I continue? That's all I know. That's all I know.
Gina, I agree with you, but I try and be understanding of people's opinion in those situations. But I agree. Like, my opinion of it is a name does not make or break a case. I can describe a theory. I can give my opinion. I can lay out an entire possible outcome and situation without knowing somebody's name. So for me, the ideas and theories behind any case, story, or situation is the most important aspect. But for some people, oh, you got to leave, J. Ray. All right. See you later.
Have a good night, J. Ray.
But for some people, the name is really important. I don't understand it, but I understand it frustrates them. So I try and be there for people in that way, But yeah, I hope that was understandable.
Amanda, yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good comment. You should highlight that comment.
What? I'm not on that page. Hang on. Here, I just need to do this.
Yeah, you should.
Wait.
What are you doing?
In case I need to search something. Okay.
So she said they need to testify. Life is hard. Amanda had to testify as the victim and witness left court sobbing every day. It was more traumatizing than the crime was about their age too.
Yeah, I agree with you, Amanda. I think that is super important that you pointed that out. And I think it is their duty as a part of the U.S. in this situation to back up our do more nicknames. I try really hard to only do first names or last names, whatever's like relatable. But yeah, I agree with you. That I think they need to get up there and be able to tell their story. But I think what they're more worried about is not the fact of whether they can get up there and do it, because I think all parties can. I think the 2 girls can get up there and they can do it, even though it'll be hard. I think Ann Taylor can go hard on them, even though it'll be hard because they're victims, or survivors. But I think what most parties are worried about is the public perception of them getting up there on the stand and going hard on them. I think that is a scary thing for the defense and the prosecution.
Yeah, she also said she put him away for 30 years and he was guilty. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And that's a nice comment, Gina. She said, I get what you're saying, but it's not like you were being disrespectful. I watch your videos. You guys are super respectful, which I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That is how we see it too. Hopefully other people will get it, but I think some people have the perception of like, well, how could you get a name wrong, or how could you forget how to pronounce a name with something so important? But like, man, everything in life is so important, in my opinion. I don't think that a crime is more important than respecting another person in any other situation. I think they're all equally important and they all matter to me. You know, intention matters. I think intention means a lot. But yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Tammy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. There you go. That's what Mike was getting at. You need to order Flonase because that will help with symptoms while you get off of nose spray. Thank you, Tammy. You are star of the chat for tonight.
Yes. Tammy is star of the chat. Post it.
We need to get Brendan off of the nose spray.
Oh, the neti pot is such a good idea. I love the neti pot.
It doesn't work.
It does. I'd put this in it. It works really good.
So when you have the rebound swelling that Tammy's talking about, the neti pot won't work. It will not go through. I've done it. I've tried because that's what the doctor told me to do, was start doing neti pots multiple times a day. And I tried and it wouldn't work. It would not go up there.
I'll quit at 3K subs.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Dr. Moore, 97 here, guys. At least we'll get through the interview interrogation, this horrible situation that caused all of this, to where police created fake evidence. They manipulated timestamps. They lied in an official capacity. They threatened public servants. They hid and buried eyewitness accounts and lineup information, and they took him to court with just his statement, his admission of guilt, that was falsely coerced and forced. So I think, man, super important. And again, I hope the day comes where we get to find out how many interviews Tolson did in the Idaho 4 case. Dr. Moore is quick to deny his involvement in Dr. Drake's death, and naturally, any consequential feelings of guilt or desires to self-harm, because the gas situation. Whoa, my hair is like gnarly.
Yeah, that's incredible, Amanda, man.
Following this accusation, Van Leuven and Tolson asked Dr. Moore a series of questions establishing his ownership of a white Toyota Tundra pickup, that he exclusively drives that vehicle, his presence at McMellet, a family friend's home several blocks away from Drake's clinic on the evening of the shooting, and a brief trip he took to his own office. Roughly 8 minutes into the interrogation, Van Leuven belatedly informs Dr. Moore of his Miranda rights after already accusing him, you guys. After being read his rights, Dr. Moore reaffirms his non-involvement in Dr. Drake's death and his total lack of relationship with the man. And by the way, that read the Miranda rights, he was not read the Miranda rights in an official capacity, you guys. He was not. It was like a manipulation, sleight of hand, Texas swap type situation. It was really shady. Dr. Moore does admit that he drove to McMellet's house on the evening of March 12th, 2020 in his white truck, and that he did so by himself. Following Dr. Moore's repeated assertions of innocence, the detectives present him with an exaggerated account of the state's evidence they claim implicated him in Drake's homicide. After Dr. Moore continues to deny any involvement in Drake's death, Van Leuven suggests that the shooting was a mistake and that Dr. Moore simply wanted to scare the other chiropractor out of town due to some variety of professional disagreement. Oh my gosh, I almost couldn't get through that. How ridiculous is that, you guys? So you have Dr. Drake, who is a new chiropractor, and Dr. Moore, who has had his chiropractic business there in the society that he lives in, that his kids grew up in, that he associates with and has friends with, that he has friends that are elected officials. He's been there for 20 plus years, and he's going to go after a brand new chiropractor in this way to try and, hey, it was just a mistake. Dr. Moore, you just wanted to scare him. You just didn't want him taking your chiropractor business. What? What? Over Dr. Moore's denials, Van Leuven falsely asserts that they had sufficient evidence to convict him of first-degree murder at a jury trial, pointing to surveillance video footage they claimed put him in and around the scene of the crime at the time the shot was fired through Drake's window. That was fake. They manipulated the timestamps. They took his truck of another date, changed the time to make it look like he was there. Oh my gosh, you guys. And these are official police officers. Is that not scary? To me, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
If you're a police officer and you can do something like this to get a conviction of somebody that you know, dead to rights, you know is not the killer, imagine what else they can do. Imagine what they're going to do in a situation where there is no spotlight.
Well, see, and the thing is,
it's terrifying.
The thing is he was convicted of this. They found him guilty in a court of law based off of all this doctored, falsified evidence. It wasn't just charged and then, exonerated in a jury trial. He was convicted of second-degree murder and then exonerated after.
Yeah.
So
because of this right here, because of this admission of guilt, because they literally came to him and said, hey, we have so much evidence against you, dude. I know we're BFFs and our friends grew up together. So I just want you to know I'm doing the best thing I can for you. And I have your back and we're homies. We're friends. I got you. But I can't lie about this evidence. It is a mountain of evidence proving you're the guy. So if you just admit to murder 2, then we won't have to end you. We won't have to give you the death penalty, but you got to admit to murder 2 to not get the death penalty.
It's so manipulative. It's so messed up.
And these guys were key investigators in the Idaho 4 case.
Oh, shout out to Tammy. It hasn't popped up on the stream chat. There you go.
Hey, thank you, Tammy. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And appreciate
so
you. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Star of the chat. Bam. All right.
Okay, Ian said, so there's 3 separate questions
right.
of motive. Number 1,
correct.
Why was Drake ended? 2, why was it covered up? Number 3, why more?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
I think that Ian, I'm the same. I have the same question as you. I'm the most curious about why they picked more, but if I'm being honest here, I think Moore was a victim of circumstance. I think he happened to match in this situation. And I think the first two are the most important. Why was Drake ended? Was it because of what happened with all the women that he was mistreating and handling in a non-professional capacity that caused his family to go bankrupt to where they couldn't afford anything? And was Drake complicit in that ending of himself? Was he involved because he was loaded at the time of it? Loaded beyond driving drunk.
Did they say his blood alcohol level?
Yep. 0.89 or something.
That's not that loaded.
I mean, it's not borderline alcohol poisoning, but I don't know about you, but when I am at a blood alcohol level where I can't drive, I'm pretty feeling it. That's
I don't even
4
remember.
drinks?
I honestly don't even remember.
I'll
don't
get a
drink
hangover
anymore.
from 4 drinks.
Yeah, I don't drink anymore. And it's been so long. I hate drinking now.
However, Van Leuven assured Dr. Moore that he would be facing a lesser homicide charge if he would simply admit that he had only intended to scare Dr. Drake when he shot into the window and did not mean to kill him. Wait, what was Ian's other question? What was the why was it covered up? Yes, that is important. Why was it covered up? And Amanda, that is, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. I think that is the biggest mistake that we make in our police force nationally. When a police officer is being investigated, whether it's internally or externally, or any investigation that could interfere with their job, I do not believe they should be allowed to continue working. I think that they should get paid, rightfully so, like their normal wage. Just give them their normal pay, take their badge and their gun, and send them home. The amount of stress that these guys are under already, these people are under already, and then you're going to add that on top of it, and then you're adding that they don't know what the outcome could be, and then you're adding that you expect them to go out into an already stressful situation and do everything the right way. Like,
hey, that's an idea. Ian, so he wanted to know, like, have we gotten Tolson's exact role in this yet? Because he's most interested in
lead
Tolson
investigator
because of his role in the BK case. It would be interesting to take out of this document every single thing that Tolson did that was wrong, specifically Tolson.
Yeah, I mean,
his crimes.
Yeah, he was involved in all of this. Everything except for second interview with Dr. Moore. He was the lead investigator in this, and he was also so I think there were 2 leads in the Idaho 4, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there were 2 lead investigators, and Tolson was one of them. Okay. So was he the lead? I don't know. But he was a lead investigator, meaning he was over the decision-making of other police officers on where to go, who to talk to, if he was involved in the talking, if he wasn't, if they believed certain evidence was crucial evidence, if it was trash, how that evidence was handled. Should it be handed over to the FBI? Should the FBI talk to this person? Like, he was one of the decision makers in this case. Scary.
Yeah.
Scary. Van Leuven then informs Dr. Moore that law enforcement was, at that moment, serving warrants at his residences and businesses, and that his truck was also towed down to Coeur d'Alene pursuant to a warrant. Following several minutes in which the detectives apply pressure by telling Dr. Moore that they have proof of first-degree murder, and if he doesn't explain himself, they will bring those charges against him. Dr. Moore says, in parentheses, Well, I didn't shoot him, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Dr. Moore then raises both palms, facing the detectives in a stop motion gesture, and says, so I guess if you're going to do that, then I need to get an attorney. Is there any other more clear way to say that?
Nope.
Come on. The clarity and lack of any ambiguity in the assertion of his right to counsel is well understood by Van Leuven and Tolson. The detectives sigh in obvious displeasure at the required termination of their interrogation, gather their things, stand up, and leave the room. While leaving the interrogation room, Van Leuven asks Dr. Moore if he has a cell phone on his person. Dr. Moore responds in the negative and states that it's in his vehicle. Before exiting the room, Van Leuven instructs Dr. Moore to sit tight and indicated they would be right back. What would they have done if he did have his cell phone? Instruct him to say, look, this guy just asked for an attorney. We need to take his phone from him. I wouldn't put it past him at this point. Good call out. The Innocence Project is incredible. It is amazing. Law enforcement did not come right back.
Of course they didn't.
While Dr. Moore sat isolated in the secure room at the sheriff's annex, he was not supplied with a phone to call an attorney, nor any means of communicating with the outside world. Dr. Moore sat in the room for approximately 45 minutes with no contact from anyone. While Dr. Moore sat in the interrogation room, Van Leuven and Tolson met with Ryan, you guys, who had been monitoring the interrogation of Dr. Moore. Remember, Ryan is the assistant police chief in this situation that is also tied directly to the coffee shop next door, 16 feet away from Dr. Drake's untimely ending. During this period of Dr. Moore's isolation, Van Leuven, Tolson, and Ryan decided that what Dr. Moore said was somehow unclear and that the interrogation would continue. But neither Van Leuven nor Tolson re-entered the interrogation room to seek clarification from Dr. Moore about his request for counsel. Instead, the collective decision was made to send Ryan in to resume the interrogation and leverage his pre-existing relationship with Dr. Moore, as they had known each other for many years and their children were involved in common activities in the community. When Ryan resumed the interrogation, he did not seek clarification of Dr. Moore's request for counsel, nor provide him with any opportunity to call counsel, but instead simply reinitiated the interrogation from a new angle, employing coercive tactics and techniques, including moral appeals for an admission to guilt. Moral appeals. Hey, your kids know my kids. We've been around each other for the last 20 some odd years. Like, we're friends. We know each other. As a friend, Dr. Moore, I'm telling you, this evidence is stacked against you. This looks bad. If you go to court, if you continue this not guilty plea and you go to court, they're going to convict you of murder one. They will convict you of murder one, and you will be put to death. But since I know who you are and we have so much history, I'm going to make sure they give you murder too, so that, you don't have to worry about the death penalty. I'm the good guy here. You just have to admit what you did.
Gina, that's a good question. What is an unsolved case that haunts you that you need to know what happened? For one, Idaho 4 is haunting. But the Doherty case is extremely haunting. I really want to know what happened in that case.
Yeah. If I could be given just total and complete transparency of one case, it would probably be the spooky case, to understand the background of why people keep getting possessed.
Oh, the forest.
Yeah, the forest. What's it called?
I don't remember.
I
don't know, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. Here, let me find this forest video, you guys. Hang on 1 second so I can show you. So this isn't your classic case. This is a whole bunch of unsolved situations that's unexplained, unexplainable, and it has been repetitive over and over and over and over for 100 years or more. I think it's closer to 200 years. It's right here. So right here, Dudleytown, Connecticut. I want to understand why, how. Is there hallucinogens in the water? Is there hallucinogenics in the air? Is there really a haunting in this area? Is there some kind of demonic situation? So many people have died here. So many people in horrible, horrible, horrible ways. Mr. Ballin is amazing. I don't know if I originally found that from him, but when I was doing research, I did see that video, and it's super good. I like Mr. Ballin. So if you guys don't know who he is, check him out. I would say his stories are similar in the way where it's not like deep sleuthing, but it gives you a really good explanation and understanding of the situation and everything. And he presents in an uplifting, positive way. So check him out. I mean, he's a big channel. I think he has like 4 or 5 million subs or something like that. Maybe it's even more. Maybe it's closer to 8. I don't know. But incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Okay, let me see. So Idaho 4 for you. Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I do. I understand that. But the reason why I didn't pick Idaho 4 for mine is I believe we're going to get the truth. I believe that we're seeing the right things happen here, that we will get the truth. I do. And look, I'm hyper optimistic. I'm optimistic to a fault, you guys. Malia makes fun of me all the time because she's normally more pessimistic, and I'm like way too optimistic. So I could be totally wrong. It could just be me hoping, but I do think. See, I just found Mr. Ballin like a couple months ago, but I wasn't on YouTube before we started the channel, you guys. I really wasn't at all. Like, not at all. I don't even think I had a YouTube account. For me, it was sales in the stock market every day. I'm stock market obsessed. But now I'm obsessed with content creation. This is literally like the favorite part of my day now, is being on here with you guys. I look forward to it all day. Oh, John Bonet. Good call. Good call. Good call. I think we could find out what happened to John Bonet if Boulder PD would just release the DNA. Just finally release it. They won't, though. They refuse to release that dang DNA. They just want to pretend that case never happened and let it fall through the cracks. And it is such a shame, man. I don't think it was the brother. I don't. I think that having that much income makes the way that you work and manage with families different. And that's what a lot of people see. But you guys got to watch the new videos that I have coming out. I have a video coming out about the banker. I have a video coming out about the reporter. And you guys, the evidence on these two are like mind blowing. They changed my entire outlook. I was sure that it was gosh, what's the homeless dude's name? That he was seen with the package that had the matching tape. He has admitted that he did it. I don't remember, but I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about because it was really big recently. And hey, Brian, welcome, welcome. Super stoked to have you here. You always leave hilarious comments, my friend. I like them. They make me laugh. Oh, don't get me started in the pageants. But to be fair with those pageants, I think that the more we progress forward in time, the more disgusting those pageants become. Because I don't know if you remember in the 90s, but they were everywhere. Like those dang pageants were everywhere, and they're toxic and gross and should have never happened. And at least not in that way. And yes, subscribe so I quit the nose spray. They didn't happen in that way. They shouldn't have happened in that way. And then now we look back on those situations and we are disgusted at those situations, at those pageants, man. Just wait for the videos to come out, you guys. It's good evidence. Good evidence. Yes, I do need to quit. And yes. Oh, those dolls in the Gilgo case are scary.
Creepy.
So, Dr. Moore maintains his innocence throughout and provides explanations for accusations made by Ryan. Ryan demonstrates frustration and disdain for Dr. Moore's assertions of innocence and continues to press Dr. Moore for an admission of guilt. After a prolonged exchange, repeated accusations, discussions about how Ryan believed Dr. Moore had committed the crime and that it must have been an accident, combined with frequent moral admonitions, Ryan finally asks, "Are we there?" prompting Dr. Moore's response of, I need to talk to an attorney then." Instead of scrupulously honoring what is now Dr. Moore's second unequivocal request for counsel, Ryan feigns that Dr. Moore was unsure and had said, "I think," regarding his request for counsel, gaslighting Dr. Moore. Despite his repeated assertions that he does not want to violate Dr. Moore's rights and that he was done with the interrogation, Ryan fails to leave the room. When Ryan asks if Dr. Moore wants to continue, so he said the interrogation was done. Awesome. If Dr. Moore wants to continue the interrogation, Dr. Moore once again references his desire for counsel, stating, "I think I need to talk to an attorney." Despite Dr. Moore's statement that he wished to speak with legal counsel, now a third time, Ryan still does not leave the room or provide access for Dr. Moore to secure an attorney. Rather, Ryan states his intent to leave, but upon reaching the door, turns to Dr. Moore and says, "I want the truth." Ryan then instructs Dr. Moore that, "I want you to admit the truth. You're killing me, man. Okay, buddy?" Dr. Moore responds by asking Ryan asking if Ryan wants him to speak without an attorney. In turn, Ryan says he doesn't want Dr. Moore to do anything he doesn't want to do, but that he wants to be able to tell the community the truth, which is so ridiculous. Expanding on his comment, Ryan admits that he is still attempting to interrogate Dr. Moore despite his request for counsel, stating, "I'm not trying to pull anything from you but the truth," thereby indicating that his intent to keep Dr. Moore talking so that the truth can be pulled out from him. At one point, Ryan comments, "When I walk out the door, you are going to jail." Ryan then claims that Dr. Moore's only chance of avoiding jail time is to waive his right to counsel and continue to speak with him, stating that you are going to jail without a whole lot more explanation. Less than a minute later, Ryan tells Dr. Moore that he can get an attorney here, thereby characterizing himself as a route through which Dr. Moore can speak to legal counsel, but then indicates that doing so would be fruitless, representing that you can talk to a lawyer and explain it to him or however you want to do it, but you have to want to tell us because I want to know. You got to be booked for something. You got to be held accountable, right?
That
Oh.
is so illegal. That is so illegal.
You got to be booked for something.
Yeah, you have to tell us. You have to, but you have to want to tell us because I want to know. You got to be booked for something. You got to be held accountable. What?
It was thrown out.
Yeah,
it was
after he was convicted.
I know.
That's my whole point. Is they convicted him. Imagine Kohberger getting convicted, and then later he appeals it, gets exonerated, and then sues them and comes out and tells us exactly how all the evidence was falsified against him. That's what Dr. Moore is doing right here. And hey, Brian, I'm doing well. Yes, we did get your emails. I was actually just looking at them right before the stream.
But yeah, and what's interesting
and
here.
Thank you, by the way. Thank you for sending those.
Yeah, incredible stuff. What's interesting here, you guys, too, is even though he did end up getting let out, proving his innocence, he got stalked. To the point where he had no more customers. The entire town was afraid to work with him. There was a police car parked out in front of his business the entire time. They stalked him to force harm in his life.
I think the Brady list, yeah, that whole list of like, it's a list like the prosecution has of like police officers that have a track record of being dishonest, where their integrity is being called into question. I'm convinced it's about this too, Amanda. I really think so.
Yep. Agreed. After some additional rumination on the prudence of spanking children and merits of individual moral responsibility, Ryan once again attempts to secure a confession, urging Dr. Moore to get it off your chest and be done with it. Whatever happens, happens, but just get it off your chest if that's what you want to do. Then Ryan promises Dr. Moore that he won't be charged with first-degree murder. This is the important part. That he won't be charged with first-degree murder if he only makes a statement. But I promise you this, if you do, I promise you, I'll go talk to him about what booking we're looking at. I promise you that. And it won't be first-degree murder. I can guarantee. Dude, that's the threat. At this point, an unknown law enforcement officer knocks on the door, prompting Ryan to exit the interrogation room. Dr. Moore requests to use the restroom, which was granted roughly 2 minutes later. Following this brief bathroom break, and despite his prior assertions that he would leave, Ryan returns to the room and continues his interrogation of Dr. Moore. Returning to the topic of Dr. Moore's request for counsel, Ryan mischaracterizes his 3 prior clear and unequivocal requests for counsel as somehow ambiguous after Ryan asserts his supposed respect for constitutional rights several more times. He instructs Dr. Moore to tell me what you want to do.
Okay, can I point something out? Go back up. I want to point something out. So, the fact that they are saying like, hey, you have to confess. We have enough to get you on first-degree murder, okay? The fact that they're saying that
confess.
Well, that tells you that they need your confession because they don't have enough, for one.
Yep.
And for 2, I feel like it also, to us now reading this, is a really good red flag because it shows that they didn't have anything. And like the difference between first degree murder and second degree murder is like a lot.
Yeah, it's your
One,
life.
one,
It's your whole life.
one
They kill you.
is death penalty for
Yeah.
one, but it also has to mean that there was pre-planning and intent. Second degree murder is like more like
a manslaughter,
manslaughter.
accidental, or spur of the moment,
That is
unplanned.
such a huge difference.
I
And
agree.
when we're talking about taking something to a trial, that just doesn't make sense for them to be like, hey, we got enough to book you on first degree murder. And if you don't make a confession and make a statement right now, then we're going to do that. But if you do confess, we'll give you second degree.
I agree.
It just doesn't make sense when you're talking about the crime at hand and you're talking about proving it in a court of law. Like, wouldn't that be brought to question, you would think, later by a non-corrupt judicial system? Like, wait, so he planned this murder, but you're charging him with second degree murder because he confessed?
Yeah.
It's because they were never going to charge him with first degree murder ever.
No.
They needed his confession to get him on second.
Agreed. I agree.
Oh, J. Ray, you're back. I was so sad when you had to leave. I felt lonely for a minute.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I wasn't upset
I was
over
sad, though.
his alibi, Brian. I don't think that makes me doubt it any more or less, honestly. We try really hard to stay evidence driven here. So, for me, it's not a big deal. And I'm also somebody who likes to drive around at night. I was one of those people. So
I just feel like that really stands out to me, that they never were going to charge him with first. They needed his confession to frame him.
Yeah. And what's important, though, is that
frame him with second degree.
What's important is that this is why legal counsel is so important. Dr. Moore, who has been a stand-up citizen and no life experience in front of a judge, we'd probably be shocked to see that he had a traffic ticket, all right? Has no idea of any of this. None. Zero. Zip. Completely off guard.
You're right, J. Ray. They can make like suggestions to the DA, but it's not their job to charge him with anything at all. Like, police don't charge you. It is the prosecutors. But I forgot
they
where
listen
I was going
to
with that.
they
do give suggestions. Yeah, like the
because this was the assistant chief. So,
but this murder of Dr. Moore clearly is murder one, whoever did it.
Yep.
They clearly planned it. Yep. So the fact that they were able to convict him on second degree for like a case that's clearly a first degree murder is weird to me. That it even got through.
Does life insurance get paid out on murders? In fact, most murders are covered. The only time that beneficiaries wouldn't receive a payout in the event of the policyholder's murder would be if the insurance company investigated the death claim and found that there was fraud or criminal activity, or the beneficiary was the one who committed it. In response to Dr. Moore states that he wants to speak with Ryan as he trusts him. Oh, man, I feel so bad for him. But reaffirms his desire to have a lawyer present. Again, and notwithstanding Dr. Moore's clear request for counsel, yet again, Ryan asks him to explain his request. Dr. Moore states that he'd like to speak with Ryan, but inquires if, given the circumstances, it would be prudent to consult with an attorney about his options. Ryan once again affirms his intent to leave, but asks for additional clarification if Dr. Moore's now numerous requests for counsel were somehow insufficient in doing so. Ryan belittles Dr. Moore's attempts to exercise his fundamental constitutional right to counsel, saying he's done playing games. Dude, the guy's just manipulating and playing with his head. Finally, after dozens of past statements about his intent to leave and his desire to not infringe upon anything, Ryan finally leaves the interrogation room. Dr. Moore is left alone in the room for roughly half a minute before an ISP detective enters the room to give him some water and a blanket. Concerned about his property and pets, Dr. Moore asked the detective what is happening to his car and how the officers are searching his properties. The detective explains that his automobile is being towed and his homes were being searched. After being told his property was being seized and expressing concern about the safety of his pets, Dr. Moore requests to speak with Ryan one more time. Upon Ryan's return, Dr. Moore, befuddled and stuttering, his will overbearing, asks Ryan what he should do if he doesn't have an attorney, which he at this point has asked for repeatedly, but had been repeatedly ignored. At this point, Ryan urges Dr. Moore onwards, not answering his questions about his rights to counsel, but instead reinitiating the interrogation and discussion about the crime, mentioning the killing's impact on Bonner's Ferry, and ultimately back to asking about Dr. Drake's shooting itself. Ryan continues berating Dr. Moore for requesting his right to counsel, referring to it as a guilt trip. Jeez.
This is clearly so intentional.
Yeah.
It's like there's no question here. These aren't interrogation tactics. It's like very clearly manipulation, coercion, and framing somebody.
And it makes me wonder how many other times has this happened before,
Right.
because they clearly got it down here.
Right.
So after referencing the need to heal the community, Ryan once again accuses Dr. Moore of laying a trip on him when inquiring about legal counsel. After nearly 4 more minutes badgering by Ryan, Dr. Moore attempts to ask a question stating, "I just don't understand why," but is interrupted by perturbed grunting from Ryan. Jeez. Unable to finish, Dr. Moore falls silent, prompting Ryan to continue onwards with another torrent of badgering. Eventually, after refusing to confess, Ryan accuses Dr. Moore of calling him back into the room for nothing. In response, Dr. Moore once again brings up the topic of legal counsel, which provokes Ryan to feign disgust and stand up. Dr. Moore explains that he wants an attorney so that he can be aware of his rights, and expresses confusion as to why Ryan is not providing him with one. Ryan deflects by implying that a lawyer would not help Dr. Moore, as his only viable option is confessing. Jeez.
Hey, Robin from the Twitch chat.
Hey. Following this exchange, Ryan attempts to incentivize further communications with him by suggesting a confession would allow Dr. Moore to be booked for a lesser offense than murder in the first degree, a crime which carries the death penalty in Idaho, literally threatening his life. We are on, if you see the scrolling bar at the bottom, I try my best, Robin, to update the details of what case we're on in that scrolling bar. We're covering the Dr. Moore case, which is directly tied to the Idaho 4 case via the police officers that were lead investigators in both. Super interesting. Having been badgered repeatedly about his request for counsel, law enforcement repeatedly failing to scrupulously honor his request for counsel, and repeatedly being told that he would be charged with first-degree murder absent an explanation to a lesser charge, Dr. Moore's will is ultimately overborne by Ryan. Dr. Moore then gradually adopts the elements of Van Leuven, Tolson, and Ryan's narrative, which law enforcement fed to him over the course of the interrogation, implicating himself in Dr. Drake's death. And just to be clear, so in metro areas, you guys, they look for these kind of tactics. Court systems do, where if they pay attention to what details the cops know, and they look for criminals or suspects regurgitating the same information that the cops fed them. For some reason, serial killers, there's a lot of people out there that want to admit to the murders that serial enders have done. And one way they do that is by intentionally feeding information that's false about the case to this person, and then seeing if this person regurgitates it. So they should be able to look at this very easily, which I'm sure this was brought up because this case was thrown out, but they should be able to look at this very easily and see, oh, all the details that Moore gave us are literally the details that these 3 officers told them. Following Dr. Moore's coerced false confession, law enforcement booked him into the Boundary County Jail on charges of murder in the 2nd degree on August 27, 2020, which was their only option because they didn't have evidence. Dr. Moore's arrest and subsequent imprisonment were the direct result of the unlawful extraction of a false confession by defendants Ryan, Van Leuven, and Tolson. And again, how many people did those 2 talk to in the Idaho 4 case?
Exactly.
On August 28, 2020, defendant Ryan swore out a criminal complaint charging Dr. Moore with murder in the 2nd degree, alleging violations of Idaho Code 8. Yeah, those codes. Felonies. By August 29, 2020, law enforcement broadcast Dr. Moore's arrest and named him the perpetrator of the murder of Dr. Drake. ISP told local press that they had uncovered compelling evidence implicating Dr. Moore as well as potential motive for the shooting. And this is important. So they came out in the press and said that they worked with 4 different police or law enforcement agencies, you guys. They came out and said that they worked directly with the FBI, who had evidence. They worked with a Montana special division, and they worked with 2 other Idaho divisions. None of it was true. These 4 officers, 6, including the John Doe and Jane Doe, they were the only ones who worked on this entire case. The only ones.
Yep.
No FBI, none of those other agencies did anything with any of this. It was all BS to paint a character assassination image or negative image in the character assassination of Dr. Moore. Neither ISP or BFPD had uncovered any physical or forensic evidence to tie Dr. Moore to Drake's shooting. At preliminary hearing on October 2nd, the only evidence presented that implicated Dr. Moore in Dr. Drake's death was the coerced false confession. In granting Dr. Moore's motion to suppress his confession, the district court found on February 12, 2021, memorandum decision and order granting motion to suppress that Moore's will was overborne by the badgering and overreaching of police, such that his waiver of his Miranda right to counsel was not made knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently. Moore's subsequent confession was not voluntary, but was rather the product of police coercion. Notwithstanding the loss of their only hope on prevailing a 2nd-degree murder charge, law enforcement persisted with their prosecution of Moore and did not propose dismissal. After Dr. Moore was forced to file his own motion to dismiss the charges, the district court found that the only evidence the state presented at the October 2nd, 2020 preliminary hearing connecting Moore to Brian Drake's death was the videotaped interview, which crazy after all the fraudulent evidence to get the arrest. Therefore, there is no admissible evidence in the record to establish that Moore committed the crime for which he stands charged. And that is it for I guess I'll read the rest of this. If law enforcement had subsequential and competent evidence of Dr. Moore's... What did I say?
You said subsequential.
Substantial and competent evidence of Dr. Moore's guilt, they could at any time bring charges against him. They have not done so and still have not done so to this day. In fact, this is the document where Dr. Moore is bringing charges against them. Good for him. Seriously. The Idaho Attorney General has appealed to the Idaho Supreme Court, the district court's finding of coercion, and the district court's decision to dismiss the criminal charges. They do not appeal the finding that Dr. Moore's right to counsel was violated, nor that the state may not use Dr. Moore's false confession in their case in chief in any subsequent criminal prosecution.
Wait. The Idaho Attorney General has appealed the Idaho Supreme
What did
Court
I say?
the finding of coercion in the district court's decision to dismiss. So the Attorney General is trying to reconvict him?
No, they were just saying that it could be used again. Yeah.
Huh? What do you mean?
So there's two arguments here. One side is saying that they did everything right. Obviously, blue blood, they're backing them. One side is saying, hey, there's problems here.
They appealed their decision to dismiss Dr. Moore's charges.
Yeah.
How can they do that if they know that his rights were violated? That is like insane to me.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't know that, J. Ray.
And that's why they are in an internal investigation.
I did not know that. They won an award.
Oh my gosh. That
Yeah,
is scary. Jeez.
it is.
Oh, sorry.
They're grooming the public to have the utmost trust and respect for ISP. They specifically said, if you're ever on a jury, what?
No way.
That is crazy, J. Ray.
Oh, we're going to have to look that up. That is so
Yes.
crazy.
It is.
So dirty. The character assassination continues.
I mean, that's literally grooming the
It
public.
is grooming.
You're
But
right,
I mean,
J. Ray.
but it's with the intention of making anybody who's against them look like they're a convict, guilty, can't be trusted. And right now, there's only one main person that's against them. Like with the limelight that they currently have. In their November 12th, 2021 opening brief to the Idaho Supreme Court, the Idaho Attorney General admitted that Ryan's conduct in extracting Dr. Moore's statement on August 27, 2020 was condemnable. Right there. Attorney General admitted Ryan's conduct was condemnable. So,
Yeah. No kidding.
that deserves a two-tone banana, baby. Dr. Moore awaits the decision of the Idaho Supreme Court in case number yada, 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 on the issues appealed by the Idaho Attorney General relating to whether the statements he supplied were coerced and whether the charges against him were properly dismissed. Title 42, United States Code, Section 1983, provide that every person who, under color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state, subjects, or causes be subjected any citizen of the United States to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceedings for redress. Jeez.
Oh my gosh,
you
I
guys.
forgot to make a honker spaniel emote.
Oh, what?
I need to write that down.
How could you?
Okay, tell me, what am I supposed to make? A Brendan tin hat emoji.
Yeah.
A honker spaniel.
Yeah.
What was the other one? There's another one. Oh, the ADHD.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. Got them written down.
Yes.
Oh, red flag. Thank you, Anne.
Red flag. We're going to have all those so we can throw them up when we have question marks in these stories.
Well, as we get new members, we're awarded with more places to make emojis.
No way.
Yeah, like you can't just have unlimited. It depends on how many members you have.
Well,
I'll check.
We'll get to a point where we can have unlimited.
So I don't know like how many spots we have left. I'm gonna check.
Oh.
Here.
Oh, that's cool. After 1 month of being a member, you get a light bulb, the Thought Riot light bulb.
As your member badge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm still working on making there's the 1 month, 2 month, 6 month, 12 month, 24, 36, 48.
That's
I'm gonna
cool.
I'm gonna make a badge for each of those.
For people that have been here 48 months, they should get the full logo.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Or like a souped up version of the logo, like
like a soupy one, like chicken noodle.
No.
What?
Yeah, they'll just get a bowl of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
As their member badge.
Yes.
No, I mean like take the logo maybe and put it like in a star.
I hope so, Brian. One thing that we want to do is we want to get to a point where we can do it full time and really lean into the talk show and be able to have really interesting people come on here that have expert opinions that can impact cases, that do this full time in their careers. We want to be able to have on criminals. I think that would be cool to ask questions, dig, and try and understand some of these situations that we might not have been a part of. Have law enforcement. We'd really like to go down that route for the talk show, for the live streams, and offer a call-in time for viewers to be able to call in and ask questions to them.
Have a good night, Robin.
I think it would be interesting.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, we welcomed you. Way to read none of the comments. We welcomed you in here. What other comments were there? Oh no.
Brian said, am I allowed to ask a couple of creators to play some of your more stuff?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yep. We are very, 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 very lenient on our content. And for people that want to remix it and rework it, we are totally good with that. Our one ask is just give us a shout out, There's a lot of content creators that do this full time, and they let other people make money off them that want to, create promotion channels and things like that. And our plan is to take that approach. So absolutely. Absolutely. A simple shout out with, hey, we like these guys, check them out, is awesome.
Yep, that's good enough for us.
A supernova, yes. Like a supernova or a wait, what does a supernova look like? Is that like an atom bomb, nuclear explosion?
No, it looks more like, I'll just show you. It's really
supernova.
That's like one of my favorite songs.
You use our content for a roast? Totally good with it.
It's really colorful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's totally incredible. It's like a nuclear explosion in space.
It doesn't look like a nuclear explosion.
Maybe if a nuclear explosion happened in the air. All right, guys, I think that is it for the stream tonight.
J Ray, I don't think links are working in the chat. But Ian is in the Discord if you want to go join the Discord.
You're supposed to join the Discord.
I know. As I was saying that, I was like, I'm not in the Discord.
Here, hang on, guys. I'll put the Discord invite in link in here. Just give me 1 second. I gotta open up Final Cut.
Oh, and J Ray said, what if they use our videos to roast us?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm good with anything, you guys.
I mean, if they do, they just do.
Listen, hopefully they direct most of the BS at me, because there is nothing you can vouch for it. There's nothing anyone could say about me that would like hurt me. Nothing.
Oh yeah, J Ray, you could also put your email in the chat, or you could email us, and then we can like connect you and Ian on emails. Because Ian's emailed us. Like, if you guys both give consent, we can like CC you guys or something, or forward it, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But I'll put the email in the chat real quick, just for anybody that is on.
That is the invite link to Discord.
I will get on it. I'm literally just gonna go make it now when we get off the stream. That's what I'm gonna do as soon as we get off.
So Ian gives consent. Now we need consent from J Ray.
Well, she's got to email us the thing.
Yeah,
first.
but
if
so
she emails us the thing,
do you give us consent to full access and everything?
There's like digital photos of what they think a supernova looks like on Google. So
Why do we not know?
no.
Oh, interesting. All right, guys. No, I love it, Amanda. I think it looks incredible, the supernova. I didn't even know. And yeah, Gina, absolutely. It was a good night. And I always appreciate talking to all of you. Tonight was kind of a full night where I was reading a lot of it, though. Normally, we like to dig in even more with conversation. But there is the invite link, you guys.
Awesome. Consent from J Ray.
And I will move our chat around, or the screen around, to where we're on top.
Yeah, do the email too. Show it on the screen for a minute.
Okay. Where is it? Oh, okay, right here.
Just for anybody watching later or on a different platform.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You know, there is a way to like give a membership link. I just don't know how to do that. So, sorry.
I can figure that out.
Yeah. There's some way to do it. Let me see here. We need to get a
link to share.
Oh, okay.
Copy.
Oh, okay. Okay. We got it. We are like making moves. Hang on, guys.
You should try to fix the link in the chat thing.
I will. I'll try and fix the link in the chat.
I find Discord difficult too, Brian. I have a hard time with Discord for some reason.
I know that's why she hasn't joined it, honestly.
It's like it's going to be a learning process. And I'm 29. I'm not that old, but it's still.
Oh, you're 29? I am too. That's funny.
So funny. I guess we're twins.
Twinsies.
Okay, J Ray, before we hop off, I want to check to make sure her email came through.
Okay.
Because if it didn't, we got a freaking problem.
Nope.
There's an email from Ian, like at the top.
I will figure out the Gmail thing, you guys.
That's not good enough. We need to connect Ian and Jay right now.
Just check for spam.
I
all mail.
already did. It never pops up in spam. You say that every time, but it never does.
It's right there. I'm just kidding.
Every time somebody sent us an email and it didn't pop. Oh, there it is. I got it.
Okay.
I got it. It's new. I got it.
Yep.
J Ray, we got it.
No, we got it. We got it. Yeah, Discord's fun, but it is it's intimidating in the beginning. Yeah, I'm 29-4, meaning I've had 429 birthdays. So
more than that. Okay, I'm gonna forward your email to I'm gonna forward J Ray's email to Ian now.
yeah, I think they both consented, so you could just attach.
What?
Like the email address?
I was gonna attach both.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
All right, guys. Well, hang on. I'll let her send that.
It's really going to make me type it all out.
Did it?
Yeah, it's so dumb. Probably because we haven't emailed her before yet. Okay. Huh? Is that correct?
I'm always in the hot seat. It's just another day. Appreciate that.
All right. Good to go.
All right. It is sent, everybody. And that is a wrap on Dr. Moore for now. We are trying to get some more information to take it even deeper, but it is it's at a standstill until we get a response back from some people. One of the next topics for Idaho 4 is the slasher details, and it's, oh man, it's interesting.
What? Slasher details?
Yeah, the Northwest slasher.
Okay. I didn't realize that hadn't been uploaded yet.
No. We only do one a day for stories. So, but yeah, thank you again to everyone with Tommy Super Sticker, Hot Ham new member, any of our other new members as well. We appreciate all of you. We're glad you're all here. Tonight was super fun. Thank you all.
Yeah, he was in the hot seat with me. Last night, you just would not be quiet. Like, you just were on a sick one. Like, you were just ranting and ranting like I didn't even exist.
No, I get excited about certain cases. This one in particular.
Yeah, you do. It's okay. Oh, good, Ian, you got it. And I CC'd J Ray, so hopefully she got it too. Good night, Amanda. Good night, Brian, Ian, Ann, J Ray, everybody. Gina, if you're still here. Cynthia, if you're still here. I didn't see her sign off. But thanks for joining tonight, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really glad we can talk about this and that we even have this document. It's like, I think so important.
It is. It is. All right, everybody. We will see you later. Sunday.
And
That's
I think we're going to dive into Delphi on this Sunday.
Yes.
On stream.
Yes. And then Monday is Slash. So, all right, guys. Have a good night.
Are you the real Harry Potter?
Yes. Of course.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.